stop that bullshit. You have no respect for each other. You know the truth, you come from your mother, your sister, your brother. So love one another. If we make that change, the whole world will do the same. So listen.
All we need is one love. Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? No, no, no.
What about the kids?
Don't forget the children.
Tell them about the children.
What about the children crying? Oh no, no, no.
Yeah, I wish someone would tell me when is the suffering gonna stop. I see time ticking, fuck your watch. There comes a time when man steps to the plate, but it won't matter if your mentality is fake. Where I'm from, we got a system, overcrowded prisons, 2 cents an hour, man. Listen, shit don't change if we keep exploiting each other. One day you find out you only did it to your brother. A homeless mother, a baby, no supper. She got a husband and father, they both love her, but they can't find work cause the people with the power.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Their price tag say nothing. Life is funny, then again it's really not.
All right, here we go.
People dying for what other people got. I asked God if he can come and change the shit. He said, hell no, it's you that's gotta change this.
Every day the children dying. What about the children crying?
Sorry about that, y'all. Back on the stream now. All right. Now where were we at? Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out a few things today once the stream is over. But here, let's get back into it. Maggots, that's you. Okay? You. Uncle Sam is calling you maggots. All right. Donald Trump is calling you maggots. And you better listen, okay? You better listen because your health care is getting cut. And you voted for it. So you can't say you don't want it. You know, big ego people can't really say when they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think about once a month, maybe more. I'm pretty sure probably more. I mean, it depends on who you're talking to, but you know, it's okay to admit mistakes. You know what I mean? You have to do it. That's what makes you sociable. That what makes it that means you could be around people when you know how to admit mistakes. You know what I'm saying? People that don't know how to admit mistakes, you can't function. That's called antisocial. You see what I mean? And but maggots, they voted for this, and they just can't admit that they didn't. They don't know how to do that. That's not something they were taught to do in their upbringing. You know what I mean? It's not a cultural, it's not a cultural, what do you say, practice to admit wrongdoing by maggots. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but they definitely don't have the skill. Or maybe it's just flat out brainwash. I mean, that would make them victims, right, of some sort. And but you know, yeah, I feel sorry for victims, you know, but you can only feel really sorry for the ones that can admit and see where they're at. Because look, let's be honest. Like I was saying before the stream got interrupted, there's no group of people that have some inherent right to exist beyond their intelligence. It just doesn't work that way on earth. It doesn't work that way. There's no place in the Bible where it's written MAGA people have any special claim to exist anywhere. There's nothing in science that says it. There's nothing in science that said Americans have the right to exist or will exist or must exist for the world to get along. And if you have existed past your level of intelligence, then, you know, there's plenty of people that ain't, you know, that are going to be like, oh, well, those dumbass Americans, they had to do it to themselves again. And, you know, can you blame them? You know, yeah. Now, like I was saying, I have health care. I'm an American citizen, but I live in Denmark. OK, so it's normal here for everybody to have health care and access to education and whatever, you know, certain things that if you need, you know, if you should just find yourself in a rough situation, there's a lot of different things. There's I don't want to go into it because it's more than 5. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole list. You see what I mean? And wow, you know, and big up to the new government that's coming out of Denmark. They just formed their government. But you know what I'm talking about? They're talking about shit that people get for their taxes. You know? And in the United States of America, that's not what MAGA's talking about. MAGA doesn't want health care. MAGA doesn't even know it pays more for health care that they don't even get. MAGA's not that smart. But again, if you can't admit your wrongdoing, then I don't know what you think you're up to, because you're not going to continue to exist. Now, here is an example.
I don't know. I don't.
Of MAGA.
I don't know.
Right? This is an example of MAGA. Hold on. Let me turn my shit up a little bit. This is an example of MAGA. Okay. And, they're hard-headed and stubborn just like this. Now let's peep it. They're just pretending like Kamala Harris didn't tell them. Listen to this guy. He's like, I don't know. I didn't know. Sorry, I don't know.
What to think anymore. I don't even trust my own intuition when it comes to politics, because I thought things were going to be so different, and I got fucking duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year. The thing is, the Trump thing is so disappointing, because he did seem like he was going to be different. He was independently wealthy, so there was some reason to believe he wasn't going to need their money or be swayed by it. He's such a fighter and a middle finger. He's a walking middle finger.
I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. I don't even trust my own intuition when
they imagined all of that. He's a walking middle finger to what? The system? Or to you? That middle finger. See, you confused that. He was doing this to you, and you praised his ass. I mean, who does that? These people, they're telling you how fucking stupid they are. And I'm just saying, listen. If you cannot take someone calling you out for being stupid when you are actually fucking stupid, you have a problem. And your problem is extinction. Okay, nothing exists like that. When animals stop being clever, they die. When a deer stops knowing how to navigate the woods, without getting eaten by a wolf, once they figure that out, if they can't figure that out, they die. Okay, if they can't figure out how to get fresh water, drinking water, they die. If they can't figure out what poisonous plants to not eat, they die. That's life. That's animal life on Earth. If you can't figure out shit, you can die easily. And listen to these people. They were told by Kamala Harris, look, how many people literally have a teacher come and explain every single thing that's going to happen to you if you open the left door? This door right here, bad. Everything got 100 bad things in there. This door, pretty cool. Continue moving forward progressively, and you could probably improve some things if everybody gets together in an intelligent manner. Yeah, that's what the other door has. But they chose the door with all kinds of bad shit that Kamala Harris literally explained. Every little tiny detail, like you would explain it to a little fucking child. And this is who they are. This is the best they can do.
Politics, because I thought things were going to be so different, and I got fucking duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year.
No. A lot of people know a lot about a lot of things. They told you, and you didn't fucking listen because you are stupid, you are biased, and you are dumb, and you are arrogant, and you will go no further until you fix those problems with yourself. You are dead weight to the United States of America. You are dead weight to the Western world. You're a fucking waste. You're a fucking waste. You bet on Jeffrey Epstein's best friend to hold a finger up to the system. How stupid is that? Why don't you just go get El Chapo? He'll hold a finger up to the system too. You could have just got fucking El Chapo. Instead, they got Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. The guy who was best friend for 15 years with Jeffrey Epstein, while Jeffrey Epstein was doing his most prolific sex trafficking, molesting, sex trafficking of little kids. That's who they chose to hold the finger up at the system. damn, you could have got Dr. York. That motherfucker's in jail for the rest of his life. You could have got him to hold a finger. Any sociopath will hold a finger up to the system. You know what I'm saying? Look at goddamn Jeffrey Dahmer will hold a finger up to the system. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? These people are dumb, yo. Why don't you try getting a ethical, halfway moral, decent person that just wants regular, decent shit? Why don't you stop MAGA? You American MAGAs, why don't you stop hating everybody else in the Western world? Get your arrogance in check. You ain't really shit. You're the laughing stock of the fucking world. You're not going anywhere until you figure this out.
The thing is, like, the Trump thing is so disappointing because he did seem like he was going to be different. You know, he was independently wealthy, so there was some reason to believe he wasn't going to need their money or be swayed by it. He's such a fighter and a middle finger. He's a walking middle finger.
Wah, wah, wah. Wrong. He's a walking middle finger, and he's pointing the finger at you in the middle class and every other American. He's like, fuck you. Fuck your health care. This is what Trump did to your health care. Fuck you. He's about to do it to your family's Social Security. Fuck you. That's who he hold the finger up at. And you're so arrogant and blind, you thought somehow he didn't mean you? Like, these people are out here trying to save face because they've been on YouTube for years plotting this, how great Trump is. And it turned out they were the fools of the fucking century. And now they're trying to YouTube explain how that's not what it is. And they still are so arrogant, they can't just say, you know what? I have to stop targeting my fellow American citizen, take a real good listen to what my fellow American citizen on the left was trying to tell me peacefully without storming the Capitol. Yes, that's on you, MAGA. You the ones who failed to do that. It's not a secret. It was only a secret to you because you're stupid what would happen. Okay? It was only a secret to you because you're arrogant. You literally didn't listen to the left. And the left didn't do shit to you except say, hey, wake up. We're supposed to all have it way better. Let's advocate for universal health care since we're in the richest country on earth, and stop making excuses why we can't have it when every other goddamn Western country, which is fucking capitalistic, has universal health care for their citizens. Every other capitalistic Western democracy has universal health care and universal education for their fucking citizens, pretty much. You know, like, damn, it's a no-brainer at this point. And these arrogant ass people, like, what makes her so fucking arrogant? You know, like,
I don't know. I don't know.
What makes him so fucking arrogant? You know, it's the same thing. Jack and Jill, arrogance. You know what I mean? Two arrogant people, and they're talking about, I don't know what it was. I know what it was. You're fucking arrogant.
What to think anymore? I don't even trust my own intuition when it comes to politics because I thought things were going to be so different. And
yeah, don't ever trust your intuition any goddamn more with politics. It's not something for you. You're not good at it. Try listening to just an average liberal some fucking time, dumbass. You're no better. How about stop trying to think that you're better than someone else? You see what I'm saying? That might help out a lot. Instead of trying to point fingers at other fucking American citizens and try to point out how something's wrong with them. You know, all your phobia and shit. You're the fucking dumbasses of the universe. Everyone in the left is like, damn, I would never fucking want to be. Everyone in the West is saying, I would never want to be American. They're so fucking stupid. That's what's going on right now. And you know what? If you get angry and you want to shoot up some people because somebody's calling you stupid, that means you're actually stupid. Okay? Because a decent people would actually wake the fuck up and say, you know what? My bad. I was totally out of line. I threatened to invade your country, Canada. Yo, we're totally fucked up for that. Sorry. We're totally out of line. You've never done anything to us. Who are we to talk to you that way? We were totally out of line. You would say the same thing about your other allies, but you're too fucking arrogant to do it. This is how they apologize. This is the closest you're going to get to a maggot apologizing for all those fucked up things that they did, not to just themselves, because let me tell you, they fucked over themselves more than anybody else on earth. They fucked themselves more than they fucked the left in the United States of America. They fucked themselves more than they fucked anybody else in the Western world, because at least everybody else had the intelligence to know these motherfuckers are crazy. Everyone knew how to insulate themselves from you better than you know how to insulate yourself from your own fucking stupidity. You believed your lies.
Duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year. The thing is, like, the Trump thing is so disappointing because he did seem like he was going to be different. You know, he was independently wealthy, so there was some reason to believe he wasn't going to.
Still lying about that. Still just going along with a fantasy fucking lie. He was independently wealthy. No, you were told he went bankrupt 6 fucking times. That means he used taxpayer dollars to bail himself out, you dumbass. And you're still telling a fucking lie. That's pure, utter arrogance. And I'm telling you, people this arrogant, they don't have any inherent right to exist on earth. No animal does. That's this arrogant. You know what I'm saying? No fucking animals have the right. They don't have any inherent right to. Stupid doesn't have an inherent right to exist. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. People go extinct all the motherfucking time. Nations fall all the fucking time, B. Like, wake up.
Need their money or be swayed by it. He's such a fighter and a middle finger. He's a walking middle finger.
I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, eat mud pie, goddammit. You know, eat. It's weird. Can you just put a pie in my hand so I can just throw this shit in their face? Bow! And just fucking go about my day like, you know, where are the rotten tomatoes? Everybody needs to just throw tomatoes at their fucking ass. These people are morons. They're fucking morons. You know, what can I say? You don't know yet? You still don't know? I don't know. I don't know what it was. Oh my God. It's just, it's totally embarrassing. Well, for everyone else, in case you don't know, you thought healthcare was already fucked up by Donald Trump. Well, guess what happened 2 days ago? I missed it. I was too busy streaming and shit. Yeah, my timing was off a little bit, but Donald Trump has found a great, excellent way to take more healthcare away from more maggots. And, you know, what can they do about it? They can't do a motherfucking thing about it. There's nothing they can do about it. They have to accept that not only did he take other health care while they're paying taxes for it, but he's now about to take some more. And, yeah, this is what they voted for. This is the life they have. And, you know, it's not going to get any better until they learn who to listen to, because they obviously are dumb as shit and haven't figured that part out yet. You know, like they don't know the difference between someone who wants to help them and someone who wants to jack their pockets. Like, that's the situation of MAGA right now. And it is really, really sad. It's really sad to live that reality. But this punk ass right here, Dr. Oz, you know, because we have such a great group of maggots out there. They got someone like Trump, who they believed in, right? Insane, right? They believed in Trump. You know, Megan believed in Trump. Wow, he was a self-made businessman, you know? Wow. She believed Trump was going to care about her health. So they got Dr. Oz, you know, another TV doctor. They got Dr. Oz to explain to you how, listen, libertarians don't believe, you know, tax money should go to healthcare. You know what I mean? And really, you know, there's got to be some, you got to work 20 hours a week to get that healthcare. You're going to pay the taxes though. You're not getting a tax deduction because you can't access healthcare. No, you're going to keep paying your taxes. You dumbass maggots, because you're slaves. And you don't have a choice. There's nothing you can do about it, right? You're going to keep doing that. And meanwhile, this is what's going to happen to you. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But here we go. Let's see.
To die because of this. Not only does it cut $900 billion from Medicaid, it adds a requirement that adults between 19 and 64 must work 40 hours a week to keep their coverage, and specifically states that people with cancer, HIV, or end-stage renal disease are not exempt from these work requirements. This rule requires people who are actively dying to work 40 hours a week or they lose their medical care. This goes into effect in...
It's actually, I believe it's actually 20 hours a week, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be something like 5 million more Americans. On top, first of all, there was 40 million Americans that didn't have health care before Trump fucked with it, right? Before the big, beautiful, ugly bill. So there's more already, more than 40 million. Then he comes and he does this, which is like 5 more million people. And he's still collecting your federal taxes from you. So you had all these other presidents before you that at least believed you deserved something from your federal taxes. Something, right? Trump comes along because of the genius of the MAGA cult, and you're just going to pay for it, and it's not going to be there from one day to the next. Just like that. You're not owed any sort of, no sort of way out of it, and listen, hold on. Madam says Republican shill voters would vote for Ronald McDonald. You absolutely right, madam. What's up? Exactly. They would vote for goddamn Ronald McDonald. And it's pathetic. It is pathetic. It's really sad. They just, I think Friars, I saw Friars in the chat. I think you're right, Friars. I think people just have to say fuck them. Like, do not wait on them to wake up. Like, they have shown themselves to be the assholes of the Western world. Like, they've shown how ignorant they are, how spiteful and hateful they are of other Western people. Like, this is what the West needs to know. Look at how they hate their counterpart, the other American citizens. Look at how much they loathe other American citizens. Look how much they loathe liberals and Democrats and and woke. That's half of the country. But you know what that should tell you? They loathe you also. That's the height of their arrogance. Uneducated people with arrogance up to the ceiling. They will swear to God that they are better than you. Like, straight up. They will do that. And I'm not talking about me. They won't swear to God they're better than me because who am I? But they will swear to God that they're better than everybody else in the West. Like, these are the arrogant people. And they're ignorant as fuck. They lack health. They're not even smart enough to get health care for their taxes. They're not even smart enough to even get the right to an education. They don't even know. Most of them have no education. Seriously. That's a crazy part. That's a crazy. And we're talking about the Western world. People in the richest part of the world having no fucking education and being too stupid to even desire it. Being too stupid to even know that, wait a second, all that fucking money you pay in taxes and you don't even have the best health care on earth provided to you and your children. Why? Why are you paying taxes then? Is your taxes only for wars with Iran? Are you that dumb? Yes. MAGA is that dumb. And now, as of June 1st, more people are getting cut. Remember those, what do they say? They don't want you to be sick before you sign up for healthcare, or you won't pre-existing conditions. Yeah, pre-existing conditions. Whoop. See you later. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Anybody with pre-existing, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Cut you guys off too. Cut you guys off. So funny, isn't it?
January of next year, and is expected to kick 3 million people off of Medicaid over the next 10 years. And if you're not on Medicaid and you think this won't affect you, you're wrong. States are already spending tens of millions of dollars hiring new staff and upgrading technology in preparation for these mandates, which is your tax money, by the way. Money that could go to making your life better is now going to kicking cancer patients off of insurance. Here's my source if you want more information about this. Trump's new Medicaid rule.
Yeah. So that's happening. And now we get to hear this is the real insulting part. Guess who they got to come out and tell you about this? This guy right here. So here we go. Let's take a listen, everybody. Let's listen to a person who thinks you're stupid as shit, really doesn't like you because you're middle class and poor. You see what I mean? Yeah, but he loves your tax dollars. He loves having you pay for him to come up here and speak to you because, A, you don't deserve any better. Okay? That's it.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's like I'm talking to a classroom. I've got a couple announcements, then love to take some questions for you. When the president came in for this term, he commented on how challenging it had been to deal with the affordability crisis in pharmaceutical medications, often commenting on the fact that he'd been able to reduce the price by 1/8 of 1% at one point in the first administration, and he thought that was a massive achievement because it's usually just skyrocketing. And it's an important issue for a lot of folks in America because almost 1 in 3 Americans, when they go to a pharmacy to pick up a medication that their doctors prescribe for them, leaves empty-handed because they can't afford the medication, especially for branded products. And part of the reason for this, it's unknown to a lot of Americans.
So he's going to sell you some new, story about cheaper medication while he tells you that, oh, by the way, 3 to 5 million more people won't even have any health care at all. That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off.
Recognized by the president.
It's an assault on the middle class and poor of the United States of America. That's what that is. And if you see that any different, you are a slave, like straight up.
This administration is that our drug prices are about 3 times higher on average than the same drugs made in the same facilities in the same American factories oftentimes than they are charging patients overseas in Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world. It's global freeloading.
And why is that?
Wrong. President demanded that we change it, and as most of you know, we spent much of last year negotiating with the 17 largest pharmaceutical companies that drive over 80% of the entire business in branded pharmaceuticals, and every single one of them agreed to a most favored nation drug pricing strategy, which simply stated means that these medications, especially going into the future, will be priced at the same amount as the rest of the world. It doesn't mean price fixing. We're not telling pharmaceutical companies what to charge. We're saying to them, whatever you charge us, you got to charge the other folks, which means we might be able to help you overseas to get better pricing so that you can make up some of the losses that you'll experience.
Hello? Nobody wants your shit. Like, what is this? This is a total spookified statement there. Listen, y'all, for people that don't know. People that make their own goddamn pharmaceuticals. Penicillin? You think the United States is the only fucking country that makes penicillin? Like, it's ridiculous. He's talking about pharmaceuticals. He's not talking about some advanced shit. You see what I'm saying? He's literally talking about pharmaceuticals. Has he even bothered to tell people, look how much the shit already costs? Listen, let me just pull this up. I mean, I'm really sorry that Americans have to go through this. But again, MAGA people are not sorry Americans have to go through this. This is the most pettiest regime, period. Let me see here. I mean, they just have no problem openly gaslighting you. Openly. And if you fall for what this man says, you are a slave. Like, I'm just saying it like that. There's no more room for, for there to be any other possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You have the right to research everything. Listen, let's pull this up. What is the difference in the price of penicillin? Penicillin from USA and Denmark, and who makes it for each country? Just curious, right? Just as an example. Now, I want to illustrate, show you something to illustrate my point. Now, of course, I haven't looked at it. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out what it is. This is live reactions, right? Maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I'm not understanding here, right? Based on pharmaceutical databases, there's no major global or regional drug register. Hold on. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I meant penicillin. I'm sorry. I spelled it wrong. Sorry about that. Damn, I'm so stupid. Let me see. Here we go. Damn, I should have known that. Here we go. So now, since you're looking for a standard penicillin specified oral penicillin V, the most common form prescribed for everyday infections like strep throat, here's how. Now, remember, he said pharmaceuticals, right? So this is a pharmaceutical. Everyday infections for strep throat. Here's how the pricing manufacturing dynamics break down between USA and Denmark. The price difference. As a general rule, prescription drugs, including basic antibiotics, are significantly more expensive out of pocket in the United States than they are in Denmark. Okay, so can y'all see this pricing? Let me just adjust this real quick so everybody can see, because you have to understand this man is openly fucking lying, and it is just so pathetic to do that, right? It's so pathetic to do that. I'm not going to be able to get it all up here, but let's take a look at what's there, right? There, this is good enough to see, right? Now, it'll show you approximate cost. Look, United States. What the hell? Oh, right, this is krona. Now, United States, $15 to $40, right? That's what it says. Now, Denmark is 50 krona, right? Now, 50 krona it's cheaper than $15. That's for damn sure. And right now, why does it say 7? Yeah, you see that it's $7 to $17. I mean, you see the difference. 50 krona is $7. 120 krona is $17. I'm sorry. How is he going to help Denmark? How's this guy going to help Denmark get penicillin cheaper? I mean, it doesn't work that way. You see what I mean? I mean, this is how's he going to help Denmark get penicillin cheaper? I mean, what the fuck is going on here? What's going on here? What is up with this? Now, hold on. Now, let's go down. Who makes it? The cost, look, the raw chemicals manufacturing costs for bulk penicillin are nearly identical worldwide. Right? The massive price gap at the pharmacy counter comes down to America's privatization, multi-layered insurance systems versus Denmark's centralized state negotiating drug prices. That's all it is. Neither country relies on a single nation manufacturer for finished penicillin tablets. Instead, both markets are supplied by global generic pharmaceutical giants. Okay, the United States U.S. generic market is highly fragmented. If you pick up a prescription for penicillin V potassium at the U.S. pharmacy, the actual bottle was likely produced or distributed by Teva Pharmaceuticals, Aurobindo Pharmaceuticals, right? Look, Teva Pharmaceuticals is an Israeli multinational, one of the largest generic, and he's talking about maybe he can help you get cheaper pharmaceuticals. How's that? Okay, Aurobindo Pharma, major global supplier based in India with a massive U.S. distribution. Look, Denmark can buy the penicillin from India. They don't need to buy it from you if you don't make it, jackass. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Hikma Pharmaceuticals or Sandoz, major suppliers. Exactly. Why would they go buy this shit from you when you don't make it? You buy it from someone else. What do you think? You're just going to be the distribution hub for what? Why did they? So what? This is what new form of colonialization or something? I mean, really, you got to understand something. He's only saying this to fool MAGA. He's only saying this to fool MAGA. Nobody else on earth with a brain is confused by what he's saying. All right. In Denmark, utilizes a strict competitive bidding system where the generic manufacturers compete every 2 weeks to offer the lowest price to Danish pharmacies. Common suppliers of penicillin, right, in the Denmark include Sandoz. We don't even look at this. Look at this. Look. Sandoz and Teva both have massive footprint in the Nordic region. Now let me go back here 2 seconds. Let me see something. Right, Sandoz. So these aren't even the same manufacturers, right? So then there's Orifarm, a Danish-based pharmaceutical company, headquarters in Odense, right? That's the island in the middle of Denmark. Fyn. It's on an island called Fyn, right? Fyn. That specializes in generic distribution and parallel importing. Maybe they can help you get some penicillin cheaper. Okay, Dr. Oz? Eastside and 2Care, other common distributors found in Danish pharmacy. That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck is it? They don't even make penicillin. Let me see something. They don't even make penicillin. The U.S. doesn't even fucking make penicillin, and this dude is already offering to sell you something he doesn't even make. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Look at this. You know, I mean, really, Denmark makes a lot of pharmaceuticals. You know, the Denmark, listen, Denmark has universal health care. Denmark, that means elder care, handicap care, hospital care, every kind of care in the health industry. Every kind is universal in Denmark. That means they have a big industry. So they invest a lot in that. And they also sell other people's shit. You see what I'm saying? Shit that has stuff to do with healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because they have a up moving and swinging healthcare industry. It's not just universal healthcare for Danes. It's also an industry that they're also, working in. It's and hey, it's global. As you heard, you see what I'm saying? Now, I'm just curious. Let's hear some more of what he said. I mean, to me, maybe I shouldn't be too critical, but it sounded to me like he just sold people some lies.
That drive over 80% of the entire business in branded pharmaceuticals, and every single one of them agreed to a most favored nation drug pricing strategy, which simply stated means that these medications, especially going into the future, will be priced at the same amount as the rest of the world. It doesn't mean price fixing. We're not telling pharmaceutical companies what to charge. We're saying to them, whatever you charge us, you got to charge the other folks, which means we might be able to help you overseas to get better pricing so that you can make up some of the losses that you'll experience here. And
what is he talking about, losses? You're the dumb motherfuckers. You don't need to help other people. You hear how manipulative this is? Listen, y'all, understand this. No matter if you're a Republican, no matter if you're Democrat, no matter if you voted for Trump, no matter if you voted for Biden, no matter if you didn't vote for them, no matter, just American citizens, understand something. I'm speaking to American citizens right now. Understand something. He's selling you a crock of bullshit because they hear American citizens saying, why are we the only Western fucking nation that doesn't have universal health care? So this is how they solve that problem, by going out and selling you a load of baloney. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on. The gig is up. The gig is up. The United States is the only Western capitalistic nation. Every Western country is capitalistic. And the United States is the only Western capitalistic nation that does not have universal health care and universal education. Yes, all the rest of them are capitalistic and they have universal health care. See, universal health care doesn't just come from Vietnam, North Vietnam, or North Korea. Okay, it also comes from some booming economies also, you know what I'm saying? Because if it's good there, it's even better in the booming economies. All right, and it's like this. He's trying to sell. Look, man, they cut more people off of healthcare to and now he's going to explain it to you by leading with a load of baloney about how he's going to help you get cheaper healthcare costs. Man, this man don't give a goddamn about you. He don't care at all.
Council of Economic Advisors estimated that the benefit of the president's negotiated program is about $600 billion over the next 10 years, $600 billion of savings. The question then becomes, how do you actually get that savings to the American people? And we worked together with some wonderful folks, Joe Jebbia, Ed Korstein, who
I bet you had Epstein working on those papers, working on that budget. That's how you get that 600 billion savings, when Epstein does the books. Okay, that's what the fuck that Trump got his felon bookkeeper to come up with that number and shit. That's how you're going to get it. The money won't actually be there, but he will file it somewhere on a shelf. Like, he write it down. Yeah, here goes some numbers for you. 600 billion. Guess how we did that? This is embarrassing.
Who have been building the TrumpRx.gov site. And I've got an announcement that today we are adding 160 more drugs to this site. Now, the site already has 700 or so, or 600 or so drugs, so it's going to take it over 750 total. But that is an important number for other reasons. It means that 4 out of 5 medications that are picked up by Americans going into that same drugstore that I mentioned earlier now have the opportunity to double check that the price they're getting in that drugstore, wherever they're buying it from, is the best price out there.
All right, the best price out there. The best price out there in the world, or the best price in the United States? But hold on. Now let's see here. Dr. Oz gave a speech. Dr. Oz gave a speech at the White House about medication being cheaper. Does the USA, not medication, pharmaceuticals. There we go. Pharmaceuticals. Oh, I didn't spell that right. Being cheaper. Does the USA make any, or do we mainly buy from other nations? And I'm gonna tell you, of course we buy it mainly from other nations. You know, basic pharmaceuticals. Why would you spend your time making that when you're supposed to be making high grade specialized medicine? You know. Let me see something here. Let me flip this around. It says, and again, this is live, so I've never even bothered to ask, but I have some idea that it's not what he's saying. Dr. Oz, the acting administrator for the Center of Medicare and Medicaid, that's why it's getting cut. He's about to tell you, addressed the White House press corps to promote the administration's effort to lower prescription drug prices. A core part of his briefing focused on the launch of Trump RX. That's dinosaur, old ass dinosaur. A government-backed website aimed at expanding blah, blah. The policy pushed straight to the heart of your question. Does the U.S. actually make its own medicine, or are we just buying it from other nations? The short answer is we do both. But we are dangerously reliant on other nations for the most critical ingredients. The pharmaceutical supply chain is split into 2 distinct parts: the final pill liquid you take and the chemical ingredients required to make it. Here's how the breakdown looks. The raw ingredients, mostly foreign, the APA problem. Before the factory can press a pill, it needs the active chemical ingredients that actually treats the illness, known as the active pharmaceutical ingredient. Man, come on. They're making this sound all complicated. Listen, y'all, let me tell you what happens, because I actually worked, for a little bit. So I know a little something about pharmaceuticals. Listen, it's mixed usually, or the main ingredients are mixed and made, and they come in big ass bags, huge, like sandbags, like fucking huge, right? And they get shipped into countries, and then a location, would mix whichever one they need to make their own specific brand of a medication. You see, that's how it's done. Does it look fancy? No, it doesn't look fancy. It looks like a bunch of sifters and shit like this and packaging, and it's just packaging. It's just repackaging. That's really what it is. Repackaging and mixing. That's all it is. You're not making anything. So you get this shit in containers with big ass sandbags full of something that's already prepared, and that's what happens. And In the United States, what happens is that they just happen to charge more after they mix it than other countries. Why? Because the United States doesn't believe healthcare should be accessible to all its citizens. So it can sell it for prices that a lot of citizens cannot afford. It's the same thing with the healthcare. It could be cheaper, but by design, it's more expensive. It's not someone else's fault. It's that they want to make money off of you. They want to make an arm and a leg off of something everyone fucking needs in a society where everyone's not fucking rich. But they're so hard-headed. Instead of saying, let's make the price so everyone can access it, let's only make it for the wealthy and say, fuck the poor. That's what they're doing. And it's the same thing with the healthcare. It could be cheaper, but then the insurance companies, right? The healthcare companies or the insurance companies, really, they're the administrators. Then they won't be billions and more billions. You know, they won't make that. They won't make a billion, but your elderly will be taken care of. They won't make sure they'll make billions, but not the billions, gazillions, right? They won't get the gazillions out of it. But your handicap will be okay. Yeah, your sick will be okay, but you won't be super kadupa kuka gazillions. The company, but everyone who works in the company will get a very good salary, without some CEO walking home with a fucking to what 20 million a year. Why the fuck does a CEO of a pharmaceutical company? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's your job? I'm just saying, that's really what it comes down to. I'm just trying to save you some time. Look, check this out. Reality. The U.S. has outsourced most of all of the APA manufacturing over the last few decades. The number of roughly 70 to... Why have they done that? So they can make more money. See, that's what it was. It wasn't about outsourcing it. They get it for cheaper because it's made outsourced. It's made outside the U.S. So they're getting it dirt cheap. But when they bring it in the country and they mix it, they try to make an arm and a leg off of it instead of trying to keep Americans healthy. That's the problem. The number, roughly 70 to 80% of the facilities that manufacture APIs for the U.S. market are located overseas. The main sources, India and China, dominate this space. India is the world-leading manufacturer of generic pills, but even India relies on China for about 70% of raw chemical components needed to make their drugs. The geopolitical crisis or pandemic shuts down factories. Asia and U.S. face severe shortage. Okay, finished medications, a mix of domestic and global. Once the raw chemical ingredient API are created, they have to be formulated into actual tablets, capsules, and injectables. Brand name, high-tech drugs. The U.S. is a global powerhouse when it comes to developing cutting-edge, expensive brand name drugs like advanced cancer therapies or a recent wave of blockbuster weight loss shots. A good portion of these high-margin, complex drugs are still mixed, packaged, and finished in advanced facilities inside the U.S. or Western Europe like Ireland and Germany. Look, you see that? Mixed. That's the operative term. Mixed. Still mixed. Right here. See? There's still, even the high grade shit is still mixed and packaged and finished in advanced facilities inside the U.S. or West. You see? So that means the core materials, right, before it's mixed, they're made somewhere else. You see what I mean? So not in the U.S. Generic drugs. Generic medications make up about 90% of all prescription filled in the U.S. because generic drugs are sold for very slim profit margins. American companies have outsourced the vast majority of its finished manufacturing to countries with lower labor and environmental compliance costs. So if that's the case, then why is it still cheaper in Denmark? Why is it half the price in Denmark then, if that's the case? Why? What's the answer to that? You see? So they're saying that they do all of that to make it cheaper, but let me tell you, somebody's getting paid a lot of money. There's somebody skimming. Why is the U.S. trying to change this? The speech you heard from Dr. Oz highlights a growing bipartisan political panic Washington regarding the supply chain relying on foreign nations, the basic healthcare ingredients viewed as a major national security. While the program like the discounted Trump X site are designed to lower immediate out-of-pocket costs for patient to offer cheaper. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not so impressed, and so let me skip a little through this, or let me speed this up and see who's there. I mean, there's a lot of garbage out here today. There's all kinds of shit going on. It's not. I mean, you're gonna hear Dr. Oz tell you the bad news soon, because this is just the good news, which is a crock of shit, pretty much. But he has bad news. About 3 to 5 million more Americans are going to be out of health care. Let's hear.
So it's a transparency site. It gives everybody the ability to make important decisions about medications they're purchasing with full knowledge of what the cost of those medications are. And that's important because transparency drives cost-effective changes in how we procure and consume products. You would never buy a car without knowing the cost of the car. Some of these medications cost what a car costs. And so these are important assets for the American people to have. I'll put some numbers on this. In the 2 weeks since we did the last event with the president on this topic, we're now up to about 12 million unique visitors to the site. Estimated savings are about $500 million. And again, climbing rapidly as more Americans learn about the program. And it is our great hope and belief that the average American, before they make a purchasing decision for a pharmaceutical product, will start using TrumpRx.gov as a standard, as a baseline, to take advantage of something that's been given to you. Again, there's no money made from this site. The government does not charge money to people using this site. It's an opportunity for you to be empowered. That stated, I want to add to that one additional insight that some of you would like to hear, which is that starting on July 1st, the patients beneficiaries on Medicare who are eligible for GLP products, the weight loss products that the president speaks of frequently, will be allowed to obtain those products for $50 a month. Now, the list price is...
I'm only speeding it up because people ain't got time to be gaslit. If you're going gaslight, speed this shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Drugs is well over $1,000 a month. We've been working hard to push down on these prices to make sure that these medications, which can be life-changing and even life savings because of their impact on weight loss and downstream complications like diabetes and hypertension and all the things that they cause, like kidney failure, heart disease, and strokes and dementia, even cancers, all those risk factors are going to be mitigated, we believe, if these medications are used correctly. And so when doctors prescribe them, Medicare beneficiaries will be able to obtain them for $50 a month. And we are hopeful that over the next few years, we will show an actual savings to the American taxpayer if these medications are used correctly and appropriately and consistently, so folks get the weight loss they desire with the downstream benefits that I mentioned earlier. I also want to touch briefly on the crushing of fraud, waste, and abuse made possible by the Vice President's anti-fraud task force. The White House task force has been aggressively going after an all-of-government approach. I'll speak personally as the person charged with the Medicare and Medicaid services when we identify, by looking at the data, which we have plenty of, that there's an aberrancy in how these bills are coming into us, so there might be fraud there. It's incredibly empowering for us to quickly call the Office of Inspector General or the FBI, the Department of Justice, and to have Todd Blanche call back and say, here's what we're going to do about what you just observed, or call Scott Bessent at Treasury and say, we need forensic accounting, something's going on here, where are they hiding the money? And I want to emphasize that this is sophisticated work because our opponents are extraordinarily sophisticated in their attacks on our system. They just need to have a Medicare beneficiary number or some other ID, which is basically a credit card, and they can begin charging against the federal tax dollars that go into Medicare and Medicaid. That's one of the reasons we're seeing such high amounts of fraud in different parts of the country, and we believe there are organized criminal groups behind some of these endeavors. So I want to walk you through a couple of these examples because our goal is to stop the money from ever leaving the building. That is the best way to protect the American taxpayer. As you know, we were in Minnesota last week, where the largest autism...
You see this? You see this? So now it's going to be time to attack the liberals, y'all. It's the liberals stealing. You know that? See, they're good at stealing. Those libbies, those homosexuals, Hispanics, the women, the educated women. They're real good thieves. The blacks. The usual suspects, the Jamaicans, the Haitians, you know what I'm saying? The Muslims, the Jews, they're good at stealing.
Takedown occurred. A mother and a daughter, adult daughter, were accused of tens of millions of dollars of theft. And just to put this in perspective, the reason these are so important is if you defraud the system, you don't just take money out of the system. People steal your money. The money from our most vulnerable Americans are going to steal their health. They'll steal their life. And that's what we've been seeing in some of these takedowns. Unfortunately, when these events don't happen in a timely fashion, you lose the whole program. So in Minnesota, the state itself stopped.
Donald Trump, the champion of stopping fraud. He's Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, and he's out here trying to stop fraud. Do people believe this shit? I mean, come on. The last thing anyone is going to buy is that Donald Trump's name is synonymous with stamping out fraud. Come on. The man committed fraud himself. He's convicted of fraud. Hold on, man. Was Donald Trump convicted of fraud? I know it's going to say yes. If not, it's something close. Yes. I mean, just keep that in mind. This is the problem with this guy. It's like this. He's literally trying to stamp out fraud when his boss Donald Trump has faced legal judgments and convictions regarding both business fraud and falsifying business records because he faced multiple distinct legal battles in New York, and the outcomes are split between a civil fraud suit and a criminal trial. Criminal fraud case, found liable, guilty in an American civil lawsuit brought by the New York Attorney General. A judge ruled that Donald Trump had his sons, this is even his family, his sons and the Trump organization were liable for persistent fraud. And we supposed to believe this guy is out there working for Donald Trump trying to stomp out fraud? Like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? That's like dog eat dog and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not even dog eat dog. It's dog eating dog's tail. It's like, what the hell? All right. The court found that Trump had spent over a decade inflating his net worth. You see this? And we're supposed to believe that he's talking about he's going to save 600 billion American dollars for the American taxpayer. Oh, really? Huh? Well, did you know this? He faked the paperwork before. Spent over a decade inflating his net worth with value. So is he going to inflate the amount of money he saved the taxpayers? Estate properties, mark. I mean, come on, man. When are Americans just going to get over this shit? Yo, let me just get the chat open, bro. I'm like, let me get the server popping. This is just, yeah. I'm sorry. You know, I wish I could say that this is not a waste of your time. This is a waste of your fucking time. Like, but someone has to go through this stuff, and we can't be quiet about this. We got to call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? Got to call a spade a spade. Can't sit down and just take it and just expect that, just expect that we're going to, sit there and not talk about it. We're just going to be quiet, y'all. He's going to talk about fraud, and we're just going to sit down and be quiet and just say we're not going to talk about it. No, we got to call these people what they are. Y'all want to hear more of this motherfuckers? You want to hear more of this dirtbag gaslighting you? Come on, let's see let's see when is he going to answer some questions? Let's see here.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, he is. Damn, there we go. Let's see that.
Daily Mail. This is the fourth checkup that the president has.
Okay, here we go.
The insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies. So there's other parts of the legislation moving forward. But just to remind you, the great health care plan is codifying most favored nation drug pricing so it lasts for decades into the future. We believe it should. This is all forward-looking. Doesn't hurt these companies today. Just make sure America's protected in the future. We want plain
codifying. He want to codify. So he's calling on a defunct Congress that doesn't do a damn thing.
English insurance policies so you can actually understand the document that you're being given. We want transparency so when you go to a hospital, to a doctor's office, that you actually know what you're getting. Guys, as a doctor, when I prescribe something for you, I often don't know what it's going to cost you to pick up what I just told you to get. These are things that are fixable, and the pharmacy benefits is another part of this. Let's go to, I'm going to write, Daily Wire, Mary.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. Right over here. Thank you. My colleague Luke Rosiak just reported, and he's done a lot on this. His investigations into Medicaid fraud and home health have repeatedly brought him to foreign-born healthcare operators. Is CMS tracking what percentage of home health recipients are refugees or foreign-born, and why are foreigners using these programs at such higher rates than for Americans?
Well, we are tracking illegal immigrants taking advantage of all health care plans. We've already recouped, or we've actually told California they owe us $2 billion. We've got half of it back already. I'm confident we'll get the rest because they have state-based programs that we don't have a lot of visibility into, but because of the Working Families Tax Cut legislation and other rulemaking, we are no longer allowing foreign folks who are here illegally to benefit from these programs. And just to put it in context, in California, if you're on Medi-Cal, the Medicaid program in California, until this administration, you got full dental and full vision benefits. Now, I'm for those benefits. I like them, but we don't give that to Medicare patients. And so we should at least be equitable.
You see that? So basically what he's doing is that he just jumped around. He somehow found the magic immigration, illegal immigrant thing, just so he can refer now to American citizens and tell you he's cutting off your dental shit. If you were getting that before in your state, through whatever the state, however the state manages Medicaid and Medicare, because that's how it happens, right? You get Medicaid and Medicare access from the federal government, and then you manage it on the state level. You organize parts of it yourself, right? And I believe some states, they also use tax money. Well, their own state tax money. Well, he just did all that to explain to you that what this is about is cutting services to citizens. That's what this is about. He makes it sound like he does the magic illegal thing just so you can accept it, and MAGA people never get tired of that. They never get tired of it. Really, if you want to fool some people, it's no secret how you fool MAGA. You talk about immigrants, you talk about blacks wanting welfare, you talk about women, you talk like you better than some women, so you take on the abortion thing, you like these MAGA people are like they're not, excuse my language, I'm about to say something I'm about to say something kind of crude, but like these MAGA people are stand-up Christians, man. These people are fucking out of wedlock. I'm just saying, excuse my language, but I'm just saying, and they're trying to point the finger at other people like it's not them. Seriously, I'm serious, man. These folks are getting it on. It's 15, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and they're trying to play this like Christian roll out. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to point the finger at someone else. Notice how it is just like projection. They're really pointing out things that they're ashamed of themselves. But instead of facing it and saying that I'm not better than you, right? We all have this issue. They try to scapegoat other people and pretend it's not them. So now we have this insane healthcare situation for women to where if they have it's this bad. If the baby is killing the woman somehow, if the birth is killing the woman, they literally want the woman to give birth to a baby that is killing them, to a fetus that is killing them. They want them to carry fetuses that, as long as the heart is beating a little bit, it could be emitting chemicals into their body that are triggering their brain to kill themselves. And they will still let a woman sit there without having an abortion. That's how cruel these people are. And they do it in the name of a fake ass religion they don't even believe in. Like straight up. Let's just call it what it is. They don't believe in it at all. They don't. And it's just pathetic, man. But here we go. More healthcare.
And all of us together should decide what we are going to do as a nation. So if we as a country decide we're going to go in one direction, you can't have states splintering off if they're going to spend the other people's money. The fraud, for example, that I'm talking about and the use of money for illegal immigrants, the people who pay that bill when it, for example, the largesse of California allows folks to get benefits that the rest of the country doesn't think is appropriate for illegal immigrants or home health care providers. That
you see how he keeps flip-flopping? What he's saying is that they just don't want to pay for anybody's health care in California. That's what this is about. Again, it's way more American citizens than there are illegals. There's hardly, and this guy is like, he's about to force California. You hear how people say, I have California health care. A lot of people say, I have California health care. And they say that because they mean it's good. The health care is in California that you get is better than in a lot of parts of the country, straight up, as a state. So they're going to attack it because it's a liberal state. That's all this is. And they're going to use the magic words again, liberal, to do it. And MAGA people are going to eat it up like they always do, right? Because they're not that fucking smart. I mean, MAGA people just aren't that smart. And here it is. Here they go.
I don't know what to think anymore. I don't even trust my own intuition when it comes to politics because I thought things were going to be so different, and I got fucking duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year. The thing is, like, the Trump thing is so disappointing because he did seem like he was going to be different. He he was independently wealthy, so there was some reason to believe he wasn't going to need their money or be swayed by it. He's such a fighter and a middle finger. He's a walking middle finger.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, he's a walking middle finger, and the middle finger is pointed at you dumbass maggot, because this is going to hurt MAGAs. Also because don't you think he's just going after California? He's going after, listen, let's look up the next thing. How many people don't work in red states? Let's see here. What percentage of red states unemployment per person? Compared to blue states. I mean, just to be very accurate, I mean, listen, you're not going to save everybody, but at least we need to know the numbers and need to know, we have to be able to give people a fair opportunity to navigate through this. And that just means looking at the information for what it is. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics, BLS, does not officially track data with political labels like red states or blue states. However, analyzing the latest 2026 state-by-state unemployment data reveals a clear, interesting economic trend. Did you know that? On average, traditionally red Republican-leaning states have a lower unemployment rate than blue. Damn, what? Democrat-leaning states, when you aggregate the individual states based on their... See, this is how you know my reaction is live, because sometimes I don't get it exactly right. Here, so... let me see. When you aggregate the individual states based on their historical voting patterns, the national breakdown looks like this. Red states average 3.6. Blue states average 4.7. For context, the overall national U.S. unemployment rate sits right around the middle, 4.3. The extreme ends of the spectrum. The gap between the political leaning of states becomes incredibly obvious when you look at the states with the absolute highest and lowest unemployment numbers in the country. 5 states with the lowest unemployment. Most red with the lowest unemployment: South Dakota, North Dakota, Hawaii, Vermont, Alabama. 5 states areas with the highest unemployment, mostly blue: Washington, D.C., California, Nevada, Delaware, Washington State. Why the gap exists. The economic nuance, while it's tempting to attribute these numbers purely to good or bad, political governance, economics point to fundamental differences in geography, industry, and population density. Agricultural and urban economies. Many red states like Dakotas, Nebraska, and Iowa have heavily agricultural, energy focused, or rural economies. These states naturally tend to have smaller, more stable labor force with lower baseline unemployment. Okay. The tech and corporate hit blue states like California, Washington, and New York have massive tech, entertainment, and corporate sectors. These specific industries have undergone a significant corporate restructuring. Okay, so let me see something here. And what did he say? He said, and what about people who work under 20 hours a week? It's probably the same. Is there in these same states? Is there data? I'm just curious. Let's see here. Damn, man. Yeah, so it looks like actually, blue states have a lot to fear about this. And, let's see here. Yes, there is data on this, but it requires looking at a different economic metric. The standard unemployment data we just looked at only counts people who have no job at all. Right. That's why I asked this question, because this is part of Trump's thing. 20 hours a week. If you don't have that, they're going to kick you off of Medicaid and Medicare. To find people working under 20 hours a week, economists look at part-time employment data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, track part-time workers, but they usually draw the line at under 35 hours. Okay. When we isolate the data for part-time workers, specifically those working very low hours under 20 hours, or those stuck in part-time jobs when they want full-time work, the political breakdown flips in a fascinating way. Oh, really? That's interesting. Blue states actually tend to have more robust, higher paying part-time job markets, while red states tend to have higher percentage of involuntary part-time workers. Here's how the data breaks down. Aha! Let's see how this plays out. Voluntary part-time work under 20 to 35 hours by choice. Many people work under 20 hours a week because they want to. Students, retirees, and parents, right? The blue state trend. Blue states like California, New York, Washington, and Vermont generally have a higher overall percentage of people working low-hour part-time jobs by choice. Why? These states usually have a higher minimum wage, stronger retail, service, hospitality sectors, and more gig economy infrastructure. In states like Washington or California, working 15 to 20 hours a week at a high minimum wage can sometimes provide the same income as working 35 hours a week in a state with 7. I see where this is going. $7.25 an hour. That's a red state. All right. Minimum wage making lower lifestyles more viable for students or retirees. Involuntary part-time, the U6 rate. Most critical data point for your question is what economists call involuntary part-time workers. These are people working under 35 hours a week, often under 20, who desperately want a full-time job but can't find one because their employer cut their hours or the local economy is slow. The government tracks this using U6, underemployment rate. When we look at this metric, the gap between red and blue states narrows significantly, and some red states see a spike. Some red states see a spike, y'all. So guess what? I was right again. Oops. Sorry. What's that lady's name? God damn, Britney Spears. Oops. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, baby, baby. Damn, yo. This is bad news for MAGA. Yo, the red states challenge. While states like West Virginia, Mississippi, and Louisiana boast relatively low standard unemployment numbers, they often have higher rates of involuntary part-time workers. Why? Employers in rural or lower wage states frequently utilize shift work, keeping workers under 20 or 30 hours a week to avoid having to provide employer-sponsored health care. This is terrible, man. So I think y'all got the gist of this, right? So as it turns out, MAGA is actually a little more affected by this than blue states. But if they had any common decency, they wouldn't want anyone to suffer. If they had any common decency, they would, if they had any intelligence, they would know no American is supposed to be without health care. That's how wealthy the wealthiest nation on earth is. But yet they still don't get it. They still don't get it. You know, but just to make it factual here, just to put that data point down for everyone to understand and enjoy. Guess what happened? You got served with another, oops, I didn't know better.
I don't know what to think anymore. I don't even trust my own intuition when it comes to politics because I thought things were going to be so different and I got fucking duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year. The thing is, like, the Trump thing is so disappointing because he did seem like he was going to be different. Yeah. You know, he he was independently wealthy, so there was some reason.
No, that's not factual. Here they go with the lie again to try to forget all the facts. Okay. And I bet you there's some maggot up right now trying to figure out some lie how they got health care, how more Dems are going to be hurt by Trump's health care thing. No, you jackass, it's you again. Listen to this lady. You're still stupid.
To
This is what's
believe he
going
wasn't
on.
going to need their money or be swayed by it. He's such a fighter and a middle finger. He's a walking middle finger.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yep, they got caught off guard, man. Yeah, you're right. Trump's a walking middle finger, and guess whose finger he's all at? I mean, in MAGA, it must be good to have that what do they call it? That matrix steak. It's not even real. It's imaginary. The matrix steak is not even fucking real, but it tastes real. And they would rather have the matrix steak, as Fries pointed out, than a real steak. They would take the make-believe steak. You know what I'm saying? And Trump is selling them. Look, this guy is selling them. This is what make-believe matrix steak looks like. This is exactly what it is. And it doesn't get any better than this. This is the best matrix steak anyone could have on earth. Peep. Here it is.
Money's paid by folks who are taxpayers in New Mexico, which is a blue state, and Mississippi, a red state. So this is not partisan. Everybody is taxed extra and has to put more into the kitty because some states are doing things that we don't think as a country we would like to have happen. That's why this administration has been so dogged in this issue and why the president has been so aggressive. Go on, Mary.
On Ebola, if Kenya does end up blocking the U.S. quarantine facility there, and it seems like they might since the Kenyan courts are delaying it, where will Americans who have been exposed end up going? And then why can't they just come to the United States? I mean, I think you would probably agree that the U.S. has pretty good health care here. So where will they go and why not to the U.S.?
Jennifer, the main issue with having a facility close to the Democratic Republic of the Congo is if a patient is sick. Again, I'll speak.
Yo, so here we go, y'all. American citizens, hoorah, hoorah, you're being left behind. You're being sent to Kenya, and Kenya doesn't even want you. Donald Trump has ordered that no Americans that are suspected of having Ebola will be allowed back in the United States. They will first have to get full treatment in Africa, in Kenya first. And Kenya doesn't even want them. They're like, you can't just come to our country and set up an Ebola fucking hospital, like emergency hospital. Like, seriously, this is American citizens. You're not welcome back. Not if you were there. Not if you were in Africa. You know, of course, I told you they have to throw the bigotry thing in there to make the poor white MAGA folks feel like they're better so that Trump can pick their pockets. Okay, that's how it works, according to Johnson, right? You know, that's what he said. He said, hey, you know what I mean? If you convince a poor white man in America that he's better than a Negro, you can more easily pick his pockets. I mean, you know, and that's why it has to work that way. That's why the black American has to stay in Africa. Or white. You don't even know if these people are white. It's just the Africa thing. It sounds better, or, you know, to the MAGA people. Africa, ha ha, gotcha. You know, what if you find out there's some white Christians down there and shit with a, you know, with an orphanage and shit or anything like that, and, you know, Christianizing Africans, and guess what? You ain't coming back either. Let me go find out what they are. But in any case, listen, we know how the game is played. This guy, he's now telling everybody in America. What I do like about this is that he's now officially come out and said, yeah, you MAGA's going to have to pay too. Notice how they just back it up. Now they're leaning into the real reality. The real reality is that the MAGAs were going to have to pay anyway. See, this wasn't, I mean, this is all you, think about this. If you paid reparations to the January 6th terrorist, right? If you paid them reparations, whose pocket do you think it will come out of? You think it will only come out of liberals' pockets? No. It would come out of every dumbass Trump voting person in the country also. It would come out of their pocket also. They don't care. Yo, what's up? Michael from Brooklyn. What's up? What's good, bro?
What's up, B? How's it going?
I got a smile on my face today. I'm doing what I enjoy best.
Proving MAGA wrong.
Proving MAGA wrong. You know what I'm saying? Calling them slaves. I'm about to put the whip on their ass. Whoosh, I'm the overseer. Get your ass back to work. Massa Trump said, do it now, maggot. Whoosh. What's your name?
Your daddy.
What's your name, goddammit? Whoosh. My name is Yanis. No, it ain't. Your name is not Yanis. Your name is Fuckhead. Whoosh. No more. Your name's Mohammed, goddammit. Wow. No more. What's your name? My name's Christian. No, it ain't. Whoosh. Not anymore, it ain't. Okay? Now, but go ahead. Master Trump said your name is. Anyway, go ahead. What's up, bro?
I've been enjoying the live. I've been enjoying the live.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can do this all day. That's why I'm a good candidate to do this, because although it may not always be informative every single time, we can pass the time at the very least just shitting on maggots. You know what I'm saying? And hey, I'm going to get popular at that. You know, that's what my claim to fame is. They're going to be like, man, there's one dude on YouTube, is V Media. Man, that dude, he's going, he is like, has no respect for maggots. I don't. And I got health care. So nanny boo boo.
There you go.
What you going to do about it? My kids go to school too, maggot. Ha ha. Fuck you. Anyway, all right. You know, they're too stupid to want it. They're too stupid to want it, bro. Yeah.
No, they are.
Yeah.
They assume that one day they'll be rich while they're still eating cat food to survive day by day.
Yeah, man. They just getting the handouts that Massa give them. Some pork rinds. You know, what else? They're not even getting a actual goddamn what is it called? They're not actually getting a pork chop. They're getting pork rinds. Okay.
Yeah, no, they have reports in some of these southern states where they report to eating cat food and dog food because it's less expensive, right? And more affordable.
Yeah, man. This is crazy, man. You know, they it's just, yeah, bro. It is what it is, man. These folks. But tell me this. What do you think when you hear that Trump is coming out now and he's about to cut more health care? What pops into your head, bro? What pops into your head, man?
Well, this was already known, right? Like, this was known. This was passed through the Big Beautiful Bill.
This is part of the big. No. This was just announced.
Yes. No, it's just announced now, but this was a part of the Big Beautiful Bill.
This
part.
Look
it up. It's a part of the Big Beautiful Bill. Yeah.
Hold on. You mean the 20 hours of work or a work week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
All of this is Big Beautiful Bill.
So why is he talking about it now? Why are they talking about it now all of a sudden?
Because now is the deadline. The deadline mostly was in June 3rd. Today was the deadline.
Thank you very
Today's
much.
Deadline.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's why I have experts come up, brother. So thank you for that correction or informing me, man. I don't know. Like this is bad. This is bad. You know, life sucks when you have to wonder one day to the next. Do you have health care?
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
it does.
It sucks, bro. It sucks.
And
man.
so this current predicament that we have now is essentially forcing some of our elderly who haven't fully been declared disabled, but yet don't qualify for Social Security because they're not of age. That's who it mostly affects, right? And it mostly affects people in red states, right? So like you highlighted earlier, that they tend to get less than 20 hours a week from working in red states because these employers don't want to pay for insurance, right? And so they leave it up to the state to take that burden. And now with this new work requirement, they're essentially going to have to pick up multiple jobs, right? So that one job that they were working part time now, if they can, right? Because most of these red states, yes, they have more steady employment, but it's more scarce, right? That there's only like that one factory in that one town of 1,000 people, right? So
right,
they're not gonna, these employers won't change how they hire people, right? Because they're still, it's a part of their cutting cost, right? It's a part of cutting cost, right? They essentially don't want to take on the burden of, providing healthcare, right?
yeah, that sucks, bro. It sucks, man.
And so, like you covered, it's going to disproportionately affect people in red states, period.
Slightly
they're
more.
the ones who are primarily going to lose their healthcare. Not even slightly, like significantly more.
And I wonder,
because
okay,
let's say in a city like New York, right? Let's say in a city like New York,
yeah,
you can hold multiple jobs within the same block, right? Like you can go to 4 different retailers or larger employers who will hire you on a part-time note, right? Versus your red states that aren't hiring, right? They aren't hiring full-time, right?
and
it's
they also
harder
got
to find
transport. They have to travel longer distances.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. New York's public transport system, and exactly. More companies, more businesses.
Like on a logistic level, they're going to spend more money on gas. Gas is at an all-time high, right? Like it's all a amalgamation of Trump's economy, right?
Yeah.
And they'll quickly see the suffering, right? Where they had to drive to the one job that they've avoided driving to, multiple jobs to not lose money. They're going to lose money, right? They're going to lose their money now because they're forced to work 20 plus hours or lose their health care, right? And it's baked into the big, beautiful bill because the cuts were already made. So that's how the bill was designed, right? The cuts were already made, and then now they added the work requirements to hopefully meet those cuts, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's making sense.
So
yeah,
it's they cut it, and now they added the work requirement. So it's like, okay, all these people drop off. So essentially, we're saving XYZ, right? Like we're saving.
Yeah. So the bill
X amount of money.
The bill didn't specify how they reached their goal, just that they need to reach that goal. And then they found out later how to do it. We're going to do it this way. Yeah, they have some flexibility in cutting your benefits. And they're your tax dollars. I mean, and MAGA Mike Johnson goes, these congressional members and these senators and these Supreme Court justices and everybody in the White House, even this motherfucker, they're all sitting there using your money to pay for their health care. And they have the nerve to talk about it like it's something acceptable, bro. Like, and then when it comes time to blow up somebody, you don't have a choice. They're going to use your tax dollars to do anything, to supply anybody with any weapons they want, and you don't really have much say in that. I mean, you have say if you vote, but a lot of American citizens don't vote. So they weigh down this system. They slow it down. They make it less progressive. Yeah, man, it's terrible, man. It's terrible. And you can see already, I don't feel good. It's nothing. There is nothing inside of me that feels good about knowing people are going to suffer. When I was laughing, it's only because this is what MAGA people want. They want you to laugh at their suffering. Like, that's the only time where they get it. Like, you saw how these people, this is their way of apologizing. Check this out. And this is a problem, right? Because they make loads of fucking mistakes, right? But they don't know how to apologize and admit when they're wrong, bro. And that's why you have to drag them through the mud, because they are not good at admitting faults.
What to think anymore? I don't even trust my own intuition when it comes to politics, because I thought things were going to be so different, and I got fucking duped.
Nobody knows anything about anything. It's one of the themes of the year. The thing is, like, the Trump thing is so disappointing because he did seem like he was going to be different.
Yeah. So you see, it's like they're sitting here going through these moments like he did seem like this. He seemed that way to you, you dumbass. Everyone else told you he is totally different. And guess who told you? The liberals told you. All the people you made fun of, laughed at. They the ones who told you. And now what the liberals told you would happen came true. And this is the best you got? This is the best they got, bro. You see what I mean?
Well, accountability is never going to hit the MAGA group, right? They'll deny, deflect, and redirect as much as they can.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of, like what I've been kind of studying when it comes to like psychology. When you attack even a person's political beliefs, it becomes more of like a fight or flight. So they're in fight mode, right? They're like, no. They're in disbelief. They're like, no, this can't happen. This is not this is not what he said. There has to be an alternative plan to this. Somehow this isn't when it is.
Even
when,
Nick,
they're slowly realizing this.
Yeah, even Nick Fuentes said the liberals were right.
Yep.
At least he said
and
it.
He's
though.
one of the only ones to take accountability. Yep.
But at least he said it. And that is so, that means the motherfucker actually cares about his country after all, bro. Like straight up. These people, if you cannot recognize where your mistake went, you can't fix this country. You can't do anything positive for it if they can't see where their mistake was. It's so bleedingly obvious where the mistake was. They trusted Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, a compulsive liar, a dude who has gone bankrupt 6 times, a guy who's been convicted of fraud, faking banks. Faking prices for shit. The guy is a fraud, man. And he's even said to like molesting little boys and girls, like straight up. And this is the person they chose to Trump and they chose to vote for. And they still sitting back saying this, trying to figure out how that happened. I don't really know.
Trump's new Medicaid rule is going to kill people.
Hold on.
People are going
they
to...
they lack that basic common sense, right?
They're
lack essentially emotionally malleable.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trump's new...
I'm going crazy on here. Sorry about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they have no accountability. When there was all those red flags, there was only red flags. There was 100 red flags, and they were like, I don't know why. I'm just going to vote for him anyway. I know why. Because he said, I don't like niggas. I don't like chinks. I don't like spics. I don't like gays. That's why I'm going to vote for him. That's what they did.
Yep.
Nothing else to it.
That outward hatred allowed for them to be blinded. But now they have been suffering and they will continue to suffer. And now, if you could pull up how many people in Texas are now uninsured, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's close to like, there's a huge amount. Don't quote me on it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's close to like a third.
Man, this is, every other Western nation is like, what is going on? What are these leaders in the U.S.? Are they trying to kill their population? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, they're trying to kill us into submission. And it's like I stated before, right? Like, it's just going to disproportionately affect red states. The majority of the people who will get cut off from the services of Medicare and Medicaid
look at this,
are
bro.
in red states.
Yeah. Man. Look at this. It says, according to the most recent data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and the Texas Workforce Commission, there are approximately 650,000 to 670,000 people officially classified as unemployed in Texas.
Look for uninsured. Unemployed is a part of it,
okay,
but uninsured.
Damn, I wrote unemployed, uninsured. Yeah, let's see here. Man, this is, man. When it comes to healthcare coverage and the numbers, Texas vastly different than its employment numbers. Okay, Texas has the highest uninsured rate in the United States by a wide margin.
See?
Yeah, but according to the recent U.S. Census Bureau and healthcare database metrics, 16.7% of all Texans lack healthcare
to 20%.
insurance.
Yep.
Yeah, man. That amounts to nearly 5 million people. 5 million people, bro. Yeah. 18%. What does it say? Texans make up about 9% of the U.S. population, but account for roughly 18% of all uninsured people nationwide. Yeah, bro. This is just and here's Mr. Gaslighting gonna explain how that's completely normal, man. No problem. More of you. Hey, man, and we got to get more of you off of it. You can't be freeloaders, man. Only I can be a freeloader. You know what I'm saying? I'm lucky. You're not. I'm an elitist. You're not welcome here in this White House. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's embarrassing, but I have to say this is uncivilized, bro. This is uncivilized. Yeah.
And the majority of Texas is red, right? And so even with and I think this is where MAGA ends. This is where MAGA stops, that MAGA mindset, when we have the midterms here, and while the big beautiful bill starts to take effect in full effect, especially when it comes to healthcare, right? Certain people won't necessarily feel or care about the economy because they live in a bubble. But when you speak on healthcare, and now when these people cannot get their medicine, and again, it's tailored a certain way for a certain reason, right? When we talk about these GPL drugs, right, these weight loss drugs, and how they're going to be affordable, guess where the most obesity is in America? It's in red states, right? It's in red states, right? And so they're assuming, hey, look, our base will be disproportionately affected, but if we make these drugs available at a cheaper amount, somehow they will
buy it.
Benefit. Yeah, they will buy it because they're going to benefit, and they'll face less.
They'll forget the big picture.
Less reduction, right? Less harm reduction when it comes, or less strain on the healthcare system, because now these people will just magically stop having heart disease from obesity, right? Or magically start, exercising and having better health practices. Yeah. When that's not the way, right? Like you can make these weight loss drugs as cheap as you want to. That's lifestyle, right? Regardless of whether the drug is gonna, make them slimmer in the short term, yeah, it probably will. But if they don't keep that up with lifestyle change, they'll never. They'll never.
Oh yeah. I get you. True facts.
To get to the weight goal loss that they want to, right? They'll never get there, right? It won't be consistent. It just won't. And so disproportionately it will affect red states. They have harder time finding, part-time jobs, and that's what MAGA will be forced to realize, right? MAGA will be forced to see that, hey, look, I have to vote in someone who's against this and who's preaching for actual healthcare, affordable healthcare, long-time healthcare, right? And if not, I'm going to find myself essentially suffering, right? Because that's what's going to happen. America will see deaths. America will see deaths. We will see deaths, and especially in red states, right? Let's paint the picture. Most red states, with the exception of Florida and Texas, run on a deficit when it comes to what they provide in terms of federal taxes.
Yeah, they're taker states.
So
I call them beggar states. They're beggar states. Take
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, take sounds like too powerful. They're beggar states. Panhandling states. Just going out there with the cup. Can you give me some money, y'all? You got a quarter? When you got a quarter? Can I get a quarter? Can I get 50 cents from you? Can I get a dime? Sorry. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. Because listen, I can feel miserable. Yeah. I can feel miserable about this, and I do for the people that don't deserve it. The American people that didn't vote for this, I feel for you 100%. But these maggots, they have to be told what they are, and they have to be laughed at. When you look, they laughed at your suffering. Yo, you got to understand that once somebody starts laughing at one group of Americans suffering, that means they don't give a fuck about the country anyway. Like, they have to be taught a lesson. They got to. And so I'm here to teach them the lesson, even if you're not. I don't care if you don't laugh, because it's not funny. But me, I'm going to drag their stupidity into the mud until it's completely eradicated. You know, why? Because I know a lot of Americans can't do it. They're not in a situation to fight. I'm in an okay situation in Denmark. I'm in an okay situation. My day goes steady. You know what I mean? Typical day. It's not a whole bunch of ups and downs and any of that kind of crazy shit going on. It's pretty much smooth sailing, you could say. And so I got to drag these people, man. They hate liberals. They hate people like me. So we got to get some get back. And I would love for some of them to hop up, but they so fucking cowardice.
I would love for just that discourse, right?
Yeah.
You know, like showing the amount of unemployment in Texas, right? Like, they lead the nation in unemployment, right? Like that. Okay, so I'll do the math for everyone, right? If they lead the nation in unemployment, and you need to work 20 hours a week in order to get health care, what do you think is going to happen to the individuals who are not working? I think they give you a 3-month span of not being able to work, and after that 3 months, I think it's 2 to 3 years. You only get 3 months within 2 to 3 years of being able to not have a job and not have your health care disrupted, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, bro.
So
it's a crazy way, bro.
Very quickly.
It's a crazy way, bro.
Very quickly.
Yeah,
it's sad.
You know, I never I have kids, you know what I mean? Obviously, and I also have myself, right? You know, I need to get health care. I have to go to the doctor from time to time. I was sick a couple of times, and of course you got to get a blood test, and you know, the doctor needs to be able to give me an examination, you know, and just basic stuff like this, right? And you know, and also, let me see something. Let me think. What was it? Luckily, my children haven't had any major medical issues. Luckily, right?
Okay.
But let me see. You know. Oh wait, my son. You know, I think my son hurt his leg once or something like that. My oldest son. You know. But in any case, my point is like this: when I go to the doctor or anything like that, when I have an injury or sick, or the first, never in one point does it ever pop in my mind that I have to figure out something, that I need some money, that I have to figure out, that I need to read my you know, insurance plan. None of that. It's nothing to that. I have a card in my pocket that everybody gets when you're a resident of Denmark. When you live in Denmark legally, everybody has this card, right? And it's called a sygesikring card. That's a health insurance card. That's all it is. National health insurance. That's what that is, right? And then in Danish it's called sygesikring, right? So sy means sick, and sikring is insurance, right? Now everyone has this little gold card, and I'm gonna tell you, it extends even beyond people that live here to, you know, emergency care. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to live here. The moment you step on Danish soil, even your emergency care is taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I had to stop one day for a guy. I could see a old man. I don't think he was a resident because he didn't speak Danish. You know what I mean? And he also didn't speak English. So I think, I don't know if he was from Eastern Europe or something like that and just happened to arrive in Denmark. But he was an old man, and it was cold outside, and he was sick. And this old man, I don't know what his issue was, but he pissed in his pants. You know what I mean? And he was outside, but he couldn't walk. He could not walk. He couldn't move another foot, you know. So I just called the ambulance for him, because by law, you're not, with the job I have, you're not allowed to ignore sick people anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a few kind of jobs that are like that. Like, you're not allowed to walk away from a sick person. Like, you have to literally call the ambulance for them, right? You're not allowed to drive by them if you see them laying out on the ground. Nothing like that. So when I saw this guy, I was like, okay, well, let me call the ambulance. The ambulance came, picked him up. It took about 15 minutes. They came and picked him up. And, you know, so it's like nobody here is thinking about that. And that is that gives you so much security. You know what I mean? That changes how you feel about things. It changes how you become grateful for the society you live in. You see what I'm saying?
Rightfully so.
It makes you a patriot. You know what I'm saying? It makes you a patriot.
Yeah.
And in the U.S., we don't have that, bro. We don't have that type of patriotism, bro. We don't have that. We don't. We just don't know anything about that way of being, bro. It is. We don't know all for one, one for all for one. We don't know that. You know, that's patriotism.
No,
one for all for one. You know, that is not American. That's not an American saying at all, man. But we need to learn it because that's what makes other countries stronger, man. Yeah. Now, let's see here. Let's hop up. Anybody that wants to hop up on the panel, here it is. It's right here. Here's the Discord link. I don't expect MAGA people to hop up because they're usually cowards and they don't want people to hear their voice. A lot of them are trolls. So, you know. But I tell you what I'm going to do. The chat is open right now. And so in a minute, I'm going to put the chat in subscriber mode. So, and we're going to find out how many people really want to be a part of the conversation. Now, you don't have to subscribe, but you're going to be locked out of the chat if you don't. You won't be able to type a message, but you can still hop up on Discord, right? So let me see here. Now, I'm slowly going over to change it and put it in subscriber mode. So that gives everybody a couple of seconds to catch up and hit the subscriber button right below your face. right where you're about to type a message. It's right above that. Okay. Click the subscribe. you know what I'm saying? You can't see it. I mean, you got to be blind. Any Stevie Wonders in here typing in the chat and shit? There's no braille chat. Okay. Or maybe if you're blind, okay. But in any case, I just hit the subscriber button. So let's see how many of these fools didn't even subscribe and shit. Somebody in there talking about liberals don't think like that. Shit. I do. I think all for one, one for all. I just explained it. You know what I mean? I just explained it, and you know, but we don't. We got a country where that's not law. The law is not one for all for one. In the United States, the law is like, nah, you can be for yourself. Just go be for yourself. Fuck it. Like Dr.
Liberals
Oz.
are the ones willing to pay extra in taxes in order to have healthcare, universal healthcare.
I mean,
it's not Republicans. It's not the Libertarians, right?
Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of Americans don't realize they already pay a lot in taxes. So to not get it is really where the crazy part is. It's like, damn, you pay this much. They think because they pay slightly less that's somehow makes a fucking difference.
I don't think they understand that the difference in what you save and the taxes you don't pay, you'll pay double in your medical bills or insurance.
Exactly. They don't get it, bro. They don't get it. But in any case, the long and the short is, MAGOTS are going to have to pay more for their health care, and they voted for it. Yay! Bravo! Yeah. You guys did it again. Good job, man. I told you, look, nobody can kick a MAGOTS ass better than they kick their own ass because that's what stupid is, you know? That's how stupid works, you know? It has that effect. And, yeah, but anyway, what else is dumb from this administration? Because there's a lot that's dumb. But let me see here. By the way, there's some big news. France just decided to end its era of black codes, and they're now they also passed the law where they are returning the artifacts that they took in the colonial era back to African countries. That's in the last couple of days. So that is huge news. Big up to France for doing that. I know there's a lot of people that maybe they're not diplomatic thinking, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, you know what? You should never complain about getting what you want. You wanted it, you asked for it, you demanded it, and you got it. You're getting a little respect. So that's a good thing. And hopefully, more nations come around to that, because listen, we all live together on this earth. All the fighting and the bickering is what makes everything more expensive and more difficult. If we just learn to respect each other and see each other as equals and see each other as worthy, just human beings, you see what I mean? Helping each other out of the goodness, out of goodwill, you know what I mean? We will all elevate together, because it is possible. We know enough about things now, science, to know that we can do that, and but here nonetheless, that was France. So we're not here to talk about how great France is. France did that though. That's wonderful. And to the countries that are and have a colonial history with France, congratulations on that. It appears that they're learning a little bit now. Let me see something. There was something about the Supreme Court I heard. Let's see if we can pull this up. Here we go.
Well, I heard that Trump is considering dropping his $1.8 billion slush fund.
Yeah. They said forget it. They decided they couldn't do it, and for the moment, they dropping it for the moment. Now, how it turns out, who knows? Like, I don't. We'll never know. But he's dropping it for the moment. But yeah, that was a defeat. And I don't buy it. I really think the reason why they're dropping it, and I think African Americans should take note of this. I think the reason why Trump administration dropped it is because people started calling it reparations. And I think that is just like something the right wing doesn't. They're susceptible to the conversation of reparations, because they walk around with these Confederate flags all the fucking time. You see what I mean? They're putting up Confederate statues, slave owning ass fucking statues all the fucking time. People that fought against the United States, they're constantly, look, they just put up Christopher Columbus's statue again. And who is he? He's Spanish. It's like, don't you know we fought the Spanish? What the fuck is wrong with this? He put up this. Isn't he Spanish or Italian? Which one?
He's Portuguese.
He's Portuguese. He's Portuguese, right? Yeah. But in any case, he ain't American. What the fuck? Why is Donald Trump so pressed to put him up? Well, it's just because, you know what I mean? But for folks that don't know, listen, the Vikings were here before Christopher Columbus in North America. I hope people know that. And others. So I don't know why Trump is putting up, Christopher Columbus. For people that don't know, Christopher Columbus was a baby killer. He sick dogs on babies. Like he was a vicious person. That he was a tyrant. Like if you read about his what do they call it? Time. Yeah. What do they call? What's the phrase for it? His pastime. Yeah. And, he did some really horrific things. I'm not trying to just focus on Christopher Columbus in that way, but Trump put that up. And I think it's the reparations thing is a conversation. It's not just the right wing. They don't want to have it. So I think even some of the left wing people were like, oh, fuck. I think it triggered a lot of people, the conversation of reparations. So I think African Americans should peep that. You know what I mean? And use that language more often. Just call everything reparations from this point. Fuck it. Because that's really what they want, right? Isn't that what they want? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what they want.
Yeah,
that is what they want.
They want cash payouts. They want money. They want and they want something out of the but they just don't want it for other people. And look, isn't that what this Oz character, Dr. Oz, he's getting your tax dollars. You're not getting what he's getting from your tax dollars. He's getting health care from your tax dollars. Are you? Nope. What is that? You know what I mean? It's like, so.
If I'm not mistaken, he's no longer a practicing doctor.
Yo, Nori, I see you. Iverson, I see you. There you go. You live in Denmark. Hey, good day, Alice Allen. Voting Gordy. Yeah. What'd you say now, Michael?
No, I said if I'm not mistaken, he's not a practicing doctor anymore. He just
plays one on TV.
He no longer has the license. Yeah, he no longer has the license. He's no longer a licensed doctor.
Yeah, it's a Brit. You're a Brit living in Denmark. Okay, yeah. Kudos to you, man. Welcome. Yeah, welcome to the best screen. Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, what happened with this 1.8 slush fund, there was a judge in Virginia, a federal judge, who shot it down, and now they don't want to fight it in court. So for now, they're dismissing it, right? We'll see.
There's yeah, it got shot down, and so they're backing off. That's what happened with the case. You're right. He took a defeat, but I mean, yeah, he took a defeat, and he wants to try to do it another way. I mean, of course, this is not the end of the scamming. The scamming is going to continue. You see what I mean? So yeah. Hey, Noreen Iverson, Vorhin er I teach Danish. Okay, you teach Danish where? Vorhin. Hen I byen I København eller hvorhen? Hvor er du hen? Hvor bor du hen? Er det Fyn, Jylland eller Sjælland? Yo, yeah, I'm very happy my kids were born in Denmark. Lolland. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I asked, actually. There you go. That's another island. Yo, yeah, we're all very happy we live here. Well, I won't say all, but I am. People got to speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I am. There's always different conversations to be had, but when you're an American citizen and you look at how fucked up your country is, then hey, I love it here. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I'm not going to bullshit myself or bullshit anybody else. I'm grateful for living in Denmark, and I'm appreciative of it. And why? Because I come from a place where we struggle to get things right, and that place is called the United States of America. I mean, so you have to give credit where credit is due. It's that simple. If you don't give credit where credit is due, you're only devaluing yourself. So yeah, but check this out, bro. Look at this. This is another thing on the Supreme Court here. Let's peep what Brian is saying about.
I'm joined now by the Lieutenant Governor of Illinois and Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate in Illinois, Juliana Stratton. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So, I know that you have been particularly outspoken about the Voting Rights Act and especially the Supreme Court decision gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, the Calais decision. And right now, as we look towards states across the country, with this redistricting war having really heated up, we've seen that on the Democratic side, we have had California that redrew its maps successfully. And yet on the Republican side, we've seen Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana, Ohio, Florida. So a pretty vast asymmetry here. Now, I know that right now you're serving as lieutenant governor and you're running for U.S. Senate. And so I very much presume that you'll be in that seat. So this wouldn't be exactly your jurisdiction, but as we look at states that have some ability to serve as weapons for Democrats in this redistricting war, what do you think that Illinois should do as we continue to go down this path where Republicans are trying to engineer themselves a permanent majority in the House by redrawing every map to eliminate not just all black opportunity districts, but any Democratic districts?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think that everything should be on the table to fight back in so many ways, because we can't, as you just sort of alluded to, we can't just sort of sit here with our hands tied behind our back. So we're keeping a close look on everything that's happening. We're looking at what's happening in places like Indiana, for example. And what I will say, as someone running for the United States Senate and being the Democratic nominee, that I am also keeping a close eye on what I can do when I get to Washington, D.C., because in so many ways, the Supreme Court has just really gutted the Voting Rights Act. And the whole goal is to dilute black and brown voting power and political power. And in so many ways, that's what Republicans want. And so one of the things that I want to do, of course, is to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act when I get there. I want to do as much as I can to work to strengthen our civil rights protections all across the board. I'm proud of what we've done in Illinois to make sure that we could strengthen voting rights and make it easier for people to vote. I think that's what we should be focused on when we have a federal administration that's trying to roll back those protections. And like I said, everything should be on the table. And that includes, for me, looking at what we can do to reform the Supreme Court. And I would look at everything from expanding the court to looking at term limits, and whatever we can do. And I will not be somebody that will confirm any of this president's nominees to the Supreme Court if that should come up. I should just say this has been very personal to me because my father marched from Selma to Montgomery in 1965 to protect voting rights and to protest voting rights discrimination. And I feel like in so many ways, he's passed the baton to me. I lost my father in November and while I was campaigning for Senate. And I feel like he has passed the baton to me and to all of us really to make sure that we stand up so that people's voices can be heard.
Well,
yeah. So they're talking about expanding the Supreme Court and well, she's running for office, right, Michael? You know what seat that is? What did she say? Let me go back here.
No, I know she's running for Senate. I don't know for which state.
She's running for Senate. Okay, and she's saying she's not going to approve any, or she's not going to approve any lousy Supreme Court justices, but she's going to vote to expand it. I mean, I think the key to this, anything that's going on in the United States right now, I mean, my thoughts are like this. They collect data on the population, on how the people feel. And if the people are registering to vote, as a matter of fact, let me pull that up. If the people are registering to vote in record numbers, vote dot, what is it, .gov?
.gov, yep.
Then they will get that data and they will take people serious. The moment they see that, they will look at the voting data, right? And they will presume things from it by what's available. And if they don't see an excited electorate, if they don't see people that are running out to register to vote, they're not going to be under too much pressure to do such a great job. Low voter turnout doesn't produce a lot of change in the United States of America. 60% is not good enough. You know, and but when they see that there's a lot of participation, politicians behave more serious, and they know that the consequences are more serious. Low voter turnout basically keeps the same people in power over and over and over, and they become lazy. So although I hear promises from politicians, my thoughts to the population is, yo, make sure you do your part too. They can promise whatever they want, but if they see low voter turnout, that's going to produce less output. You know, what's your thoughts on that, Michael? You agree with me on that or what?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they have the data, right? I think when it comes to a two-party system, giving them and showing them that you're galvanized to vote. Mm-hmm. Forces progressive change, right? They can no longer run the establishment Democrat or the establishment Republican that they want to, right? They are forced to capitulate to the people and the choice of the people. Without that, they'll continue to run the candidates that they want to. They'll continue to place the candidates that they feel that will benefit the establishment on either side.
Exactly. Right? Yep. Exactly. Because politicians, first of all, to get things done, they need people backing them. They need voters backing them. The more voters back them, the easier. How can I say this? It's harder for them to not do something when they get all that backing. And then it also works the other way. When they see all these people taking interest in voting, they know that they're going to have to get something done or you're going to vote them out. They know that. That's just how it works. Low voter turnout means you're not interested in changing anything. High voter turnout means you are interested in changing stuff. And if you want to get like another Supreme Court justice, you want to expand the Supreme Court, let me tell you, just like this healthcare thing, just like the education thing, the housing thing, any of the shit that's for American people, all these things, a lot of them are going to take voter turnout to get. Not going to happen with low voter turnout. It's not going to happen with the same amount of people voting. At least that's my view about it. So if you haven't registered to vote, then please do go to vote.gov and register to vote. And you can see here, you can put in your own state here. And as long as you do it in time, you'll be registered. Now, you can also check your registration. See right here, check that your registration. So when you dig up your own city, let's say your state is Alabama, I'm sorry. Then you can say register. It says register or update your registration online. And anybody can do this across the U.S. You see what I mean? So take it seriously. And because, listen, a lot of change needs to happen. But the one thing that will slow down any type of progress, in fact, make progress stagnant, no progress, the one thing that could do that is low voter turnout. So, I hope people turn out. But I'm waiting to see, man. I'm waiting to see who I think it's going to be high, but they're doing a lot to stop it. I think they say Trump now is trying to he got caught fucking around with voter mailing. Isn't that right? Something like that?
Well, the ballots, the voter ballots. He's always been suspected to deny them for the most part. Right. And say that they're fraudulent because the Democrats are the ones who are skewing those votes, because most Democrats tend to vote through mail-in ballot. Right. And so he's attacking that and claiming it as fraud, right?
Right. Now let's see. This is Brian talking
Mark,
about.
He's
talking about that right now with Mark Elias. Let's see here. Is it too loud, the audio? Is that too loud? Okay. All right. Let me let it rock.
Major escalation here by the Trump administration. Can you speak about a secret move that's being carried out by the administration along with the Postal Service to try and attack mail-in voting?
Brian, you're absolutely right. This is a 5-alarm fire, and it is something that this administration has both been bragging that it is doing, but now when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, they're trying to do it in the dark of night. The Postal Service has put forward a regulation that's not even been published in the Federal Register yet. Okay, that's how secretive this process has been. And this is after they've been meeting with the Trump administration to implement Donald Trump's attack on mail-in voting. This proposed regulation, which Democracy Docket got its hands on and put out in the public domain, says that the Postal Service is going to accept lists of names from the states as to who is eligible to get a mail-in ballot. That's right. If you live in a Republican state, they're going to submit a list of names to the Postal Service and tell the Postal Service whether or not you're, I guess, on the naughty list or the nice list, right? Whether you're eligible to get a ballot or not, and cast it by mail. And then the Postal Service is going to put a tracking code, a barcode associated just with you as an individual. And they're going to give that information back to the states. Well, we can see already, Brian, where this is headed. This is all trying to implement Donald Trump's illegal, unconstitutional executive order from earlier this year, where he wants to control who gets mail-in ballots, who can cast them, and who can't. And if you think this ends with mail-in ballots, if you think that this state list or where the federal government is going to be vetting these lists or even providing them to the states, right? Because remember, they've been trying to collect the voter files from all 50 states, and there's a reason, because they want to create a national database that they then give to the states and say, hey, these are the people who are allowed to get these mail-in ballots. If you think it ends with just mail-in voting, you're wrong. Once there is a list, a Trump-approved, a Republican governor-approved list of who gets to vote and who doesn't, you can be sure that the next step will be to migrate this to the local polling place. And people not only won't be able to get a mail-in ballot, they won't just be able to not cast a mail-in ballot, but they won't be able to vote in person unless they are on the list that Donald Trump and his Republican cronies are assembling. And everything I just described, you can read about it on Democracy Docket. You can see it. Brian and I have talked about this in past episodes. And this is what is coming. This is the fight for democracy that we have been warning you is coming down the road. This is how they're going to attack free and fair elections. This is why Brian and I months ago did videos about the collection of these voter files. And even as DOJ loses case after case after case, they've lost almost a dozen of them already. They are finding other ways to create these lists. So, Brian, this is a 5-alarm fire that Republicans are trying to keep from the public paying attention to.
And by the way, to reiterate what Mark said, if you are looking to follow along with all of this stuff, as soon as we have any updates, I'm going to put a link to Democracy Docket right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. That is where you will find this information first. That's the resource I use before any other resource to find out about any updates as it relates to elections or voting rights. So I'm going to put the link to Democracy Docket right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. Mark, what remedy is there for people who get swept up into this thing where all of a sudden their right to cast ballots, their right to be able to use mail-in voting is imperiled by this administration?
Right. This is the problem, right? I mean, this is the catch-22 that the Trump administration is trying to get everyone into, which is on the one hand, they want to collect all the lists and create a list of who gets to vote and who doesn't. Then, though, if you're not on the list, then what are you supposed to do, right? Because they've collected their cockamamie list that is going to be riddled with errors, probably in many instances both racially targeted and partisan targeted.
Yeah.
But then, what is the safety valve for the person who gets screwed by this? Well, I mean, for some number of them, look, they may challenge it and go to court. But what, every voter is going to go to court? Some of them are just going to say, I guess I'm not on the list, I guess I can't vote. I guess I'm not on the list, I can't vote by mail. I guess I'm not on the list, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to put myself in harm's way before an administration that has proven itself very vindictive. So look, I'm already suing over this, not over the postal regulation, but over the executive order.
Yeah.
And if this postal regulation becomes a regulation as opposed to where it is right now, which is kind of in this pre-regulatory phase, I can promise them they'll get sued again. So we're going to try to litigate this out in advance as best we can, and hopefully we'll prevail. We've so far been kicking their ass on the voter file list cases where they're trying to collect all these state voter file lists. But I purposely, in my initial answer, flagged a group that I'm particularly worried about. And Brian, those are Democrats living in red states, right? It's one thing to say, I'm going to protect you from the Postal Service as a lawyer. I'm going to litigate against Donald Trump for his executive order. But we've seen how little these Republican governors and election officials think about black voters in their states, Democrats in their states. I mean, look at the glee and the joy, the celebratory, spectacles we've watched in these Republican-controlled legislatures as they have broken apart black voting power, as they have trampled upon the rights of black voters to be able to exercise political power in the South. We think that these governors now, when they submit these lists and they exclude some number of black voters, we think they're going to set up due process. We think that these are the people who are going to be open to being told that they were wrong. So at one level, I'm very worried about what the Trump administration is doing in the executive orders. And like I said, we're suing there. I'm very focused on what the Postal Service is doing, and shame on them. Shame on them. The U.S. Postal Service is set up by act of Congress. It doesn't answer to the President of the United States. They are answering to the President of the United States because they're cowards, not because they have to. Okay, Postal Service, they make money off of stamps. They charge for their services. They are not accountable in the way in which most people think of executive branch agencies. They should be resisting this. But that just gets through those two layers. Brian, what do we have when a Republican governor that is already using a Supreme Court case, the Calais case, as a pretext to trample the rights of their citizens? What do we do when they use this as a pretext to create these lists and disenfranchise black voters, voters of color, young voters, Democrats, right? Just Democratic voters. So look, we're all going to fight like hell. We're going to fight in court. Brian, you and I are going to keep shining our spotlight on this. And I need everyone to subscribe to this channel because, what you're learning here, it's verifiable. Now that you can go Google it and see it's true. But I bet you didn't hear about this in the legacy media. You didn't see this on the CBS Nightly News. You didn't see the new 60 Minutes covering this, right? You're learning.
Exactly. Legacy media is not covering it. I mean, yeah, and it's crazy because they claim to operate inside of a democracy, and they claim to be news agencies, journalists, and they're literally not covering the story. Yeah. Again, like I keep saying this all the time, and it's sad. It's something that I'm sad to say, but civilizations, nations fall in history, and there's nothing about the United States of America that is any different. When it's not special to that. Like, if it doesn't do things in a way that help its citizens thrive, right, then it's going to fall. It's just that simple. And there's nothing special about the United States of America. There's nothing in the Bible that says the United States of America has to exist for the rest of the world to function. There's nothing in science that says the United States has to exist for the rest of the world to function. No. Civilizations and kingdoms fall all the time if you don't operate wisely. If you don't use intelligence. Do me a favor, everybody, do me a favor who's watching, click the like button for me. Let's get it up a little bit. Yeah, I had a little delay in starting the stream today, so I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. I will be back also today with another stream. But check this out. I mean, really, it's like that. So if American voters are okay, if red state voters, if Trump voters are okay with him fucking with your mail-in ballot, hey, then the democracy you have is only as good as your participation. But I can tell you like this, like when I voted in Denmark, and I'm not even a citizen, I vote in the local elections, right? That's the commune elections. That's local government, right? Residents vote in local government because you pay taxes, right? Now, I just, how my day went. I had to go to work in the evening. So I came home in the morning, right? Because I worked at night. So I came home in the morning, had some, had my lunch or whatever, or my early brunch or whatever you call it. I did some paperwork, some things around the house. Then I went to sleep. Then I woke up, in the evening, like around 6 o'clock, and I walked out of the house, and I walked like 2 blocks from here. And then I had to go to the voting booth, the voting station, which was 2 blocks from my house, my home. And then I had to go stand in a line for like a half an hour, go around the block. And then I voted. And then I walked home. And then I chilled out, ate dinner, kicked back, watched a movie, and then went to work. It was simple. Why do Americans want it to be harder for themselves? I don't understand that. I don't understand it, bro. Like, I really don't understand it. Americans don't want healthcare working. They don't want the tax system working for them. They don't want shit working. They don't want anything that everybody else in the Western world wants and is getting. Yo, I'm sorry, but you're only as strong as the dumbest people in your country. Yeah, and there's a whole lot of dumb motherfucking Americans, and they voted for Trump. And if you don't see your democracy crumbling, you don't deserve to have a country anymore. And that's exactly what's going to happen out of this. It's not going to be one country. It's going to be 2. And because I'm for building a wall and keeping ignorant fucking Republicans out. Like, you got to survive on your own. You don't even these people don't even generate the majority of the federal tax dollars that the government functions on. Like, people don't want to live with you. You're not wanted, man.
We pay for their health care. We pay for their food stamps and their social programs through blue states' tax incentives, right? Through blue states' tax contributions.
Yeah, man. It's just they're dragging the U.S. down, bro. They're literally dragging it down. They are like dead fucking weight, and it's because they're uneducated, stupid, goddamn arrogant. They think they're better than other people on Earth. Who insults their allies arrogant people insult their allies. That's who does it. Arrogant, ignorant fucking people. And that's what they are. And at some point, your counterpart, the people you've been pointing the finger at, the libs, the people you've been laughing at, the people that you had no respect for, at some point, the blue states are going to be tired of this. The citizens in those states are going to fucking be tired of it. And it's coming. This election, if they don't let people vote, if there is fraud because of this president, this country is coming to an end. Just straight up, the United States is going to be finished. And these red state people don't think so. They don't actually believe it can happen. But let me tell you, blue state Americans are fucking tired of you. We're fucking tired of you fucking our country up, yo. We're fucking tired of it. Seriously, it's coming. So you fuck around with this election if you want, Trump, and you maggots, you just sit back and let Trump do this, and you're going to find out. You're going to find out. And no amount of little fucking guns is going to matter because blue states got guns too. Okay. And you try to come into those cities. Once it's a motherfucking civil war, ICE ain't going to matter. You can wear all the shit you want. When it's on, people will be shooting at your ass. For the first time. Okay. It's not going to be, they're not going to just keep taking it. Okay. Yeah, for real. That's how it's going to be. And what I love about the blue states is that they wait. They've been calm. They've been winning an election. They've been trying to follow the rules. And they made every attempt to try to follow the fucking rules. And at every step of the way, these maggots just keep fucking over the rules, breaking the rules. And so when shit hits the fan, it's going to be known. It's a 100% fact that blue states tried to follow the rules and the red states just didn't fucking want to. And that there is no other way. It's coming. So Trump, you fucking around with this. Go ahead. The only thing people got is these elections. You want to take it? Go ahead, baby.
About this because Brian and I are staying on top of the things that are really important to free and fair elections this November.
This next question is not to say that Trump would have not moved to replace whoever was in charge of USPS anyway, if there was somebody who was not compliant, but was...
Finland, come on in and colonize the USA. Thank you very much. Please do. Yeah, I mean, they already insulted every NATO nation. NATO ain't got to put up with... I'm serious. Listen, join the blue state side. Join our side. We will help you. Give us the weapons. Just like Trump said, Putin, he called on Putin to help him with Hillary's email. Yeah, well, we calling on everybody else that's a part of the civilized Western world to help us get our fucking country back from these lunatics. It's about to be on when they fuck with these elections. It's about to be on. It's about to be on. So, yeah, send all the weapons you got. Send all the aid. Come and bring your spies. I will help you. I'll tell you all about which streets to go down, where they hiding at, how they live, what they think. You want me to come and teach? Invite me to Finland. I will teach you about these motherfuckers, man, how they act. They don't have any respect for nobody. Anyway, you know it. You see, listen, let's take a little tour.
Trump's new Medicaid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's take a...
the way they...
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, that was you. Yo, I was playing one of your shorts. Let's take a little trip down dumbass MAGA road just so we can be very clear about what we're talking about. Here's what we talking about.
9/11.
Which part?
Not being around, always on vacation, never in the office.
Why do you think Barack Obama wasn't in the Oval Office on 9/11?
That I don't know. Would like to get to the bottom of that. Barack Obama had big part of 9/11.
Which part?
Not being around, always on vacation, never in the office.
Why do you think Barack Obama wasn't in the Oval Office on 9/11?
That I don't know.
Because he wasn't the fucking president, dumbass. And see, it's hard to fight stupid. It's hard to fight stupid. It really is. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're having a fight with stupid, and stupid doesn't fucking want to learn. And but it's going to have to learn because the laws of physics require it, and every other scientific law.
Stupid is popular, right?
Hold on, what did you say?
Stupid is popular, right? It's the new popular, right?
It is. It's the new. Yeah, I don't know what the hell it is. Is it the new popular? I'm like, man, you can't survive being this stupid, bro. Like it just doesn't work. This is destruction. Like what the hell? These people think they can survive on Earth. Like this is not how animals survive being dumb. Animals have to be clever to survive, and human beings are animals. And you don't just have a carte blanche on the existence on Earth. No, you got to exercise intelligence, right? And if you don't, you fall, you suffer. You know, that's really what it is.
How are you forcing your lifestyle over on me?
Who's forcing you to be gay?
Joe Biden and his crew.
Joe Biden's forcing you to be gay?
No.
Huh? What'd you say?
No, I said we're suffering and we will continue to suffer.
Yeah.
On a healthcare, economic level, on so many different levels.
Exactly. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm about to be on some serious bigoted MAGA shit. Like when I'm in the U.S., like this is what I advise Americans to do. Anyone who is a MAGA in a blue state, shun them. Shun them. Like shun them. It's gonna get hard for people who cap for Trump in these blue states. Like just end it, man. They're not your friends. Like, they're not your friends. These people want the destruction of the United States of America. They wanted the destruction of NATO. They literally wanted that, and they went after it, you know, and they did everything to try to tear people apart, divide people in the country, you know, to weaken the country. And they really spent a lot of time doing it. And it's just going to have to come to an end at some point. I'm telling you, I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm not used to this kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the capital. I'm not used to this crazy shit. I'm used to white people that have some intelligence, at least. White people that don't want to always be like segregated and, you know, always having to be, how can I say, have this tension between folks. Like, it's just draining. It's too tiresome. You know, it's sad, man. But let's play some more. This is who we dealing with.
Oh, not forcing me.
Before
sure you get that right.
There's this great YouTube channel. It's called the Necessary Conversation.
The Necessary Conversation.
Yeah, and it entails, you know, a family. Their parents are MAGA. They're liberals, and they go through the current events and they, you know, bounce off political ideology, and they speak, you know, they talk facts to their parents and see what their response is, see how they, you know, react to the current events through a MAGA lens.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to be, what's it called again?
The Necessary Conversation.
Okay. I'm gonna peep it. Let's look it up. I mean, but this is an example of these idiots right here.
Ain't
Look.
gay and ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay. Don't ask me.
No, but I thought you're saying he's forcing you. He's forcing you to be gay, or he's forcing you to be. What's he forcing?
The whole party is forcing their lifestyle over onto us. Period.
Nobody's forcing you to be gay. It's just so people can live the life how they want to live without persecution.
They are putting in schools, in our education for our children, okay?
Yeah.
That it's okay to be that way, and it's not. It's ungodly. Period.
But you're saying like
period. There's no answer. There's no more question to that. Period.
Because in Leviticus,
it's ungodly, friend.
Okay. So in the Bible, in Leviticus, it says, "If a man lives with a man, he should be put to death."
Also, you be careful. Okay.
Also in Leviticus,
we're going to go to eternity, and we're going to answer for all this right here.
I look forward to it.
Right.
Also in Leviticus, it says, if you spill your seed, you need to give 2 turtle doves to a pastor or priest. Spill your seed meaning ejaculate. Have you given turtle doves to priests or pastors like it says in the Bible?
No.
You haven't?
No. Why are you...
And that's just what it is, you know? It's like they come with this shit and they're just like, you know, this is what their politic is. It's culture war. It is not based on science. It's not what is smart. It's not based on numbers, what everyone needs. It's not based on any of that. It's based on name calling. It's based on, you know, pointing fingers at other people that are different, that just have a small little bit of difference than you, and scapegoating them for every problem in the country. Listen to this lunatic. He doesn't even know the history of the country. Just listen to him yap his fucking mouth. And look, I'm sorry. Why should I like anything about this? These people are, what is American about them? Like, is this American what he's about to say?
And the biggest supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah, every person, women, men, black, white, whatever, has equal dignity under the law and before God. That doesn't mean they'll have the same roles and should have the same influence in a society.
So who should have influence in our society?
Christian leaders.
White Christian men. Interesting.
White Christian men.
Yeah, white Christian men.
The next conservative
That's ill.
president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity diversity, equity and inclusion, DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender-sensitive abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule, agency, regulation, contract, grant regulation, and piece of legislation that exists.
Are you saying you don't mind if your right to vote would be taken away?
I don't care. I know what I want. I know what I want.
But you wouldn't be able to get what you want if you can't vote for it.
I don't care. I've told you 3 times. I don't care.
Loyalists and the biggest support.
Right. You see that? She doesn't care. She knows what she wants. This dude is saying that he doesn't think women should have the right to vote. Only white Christian men. And he's asking the lady about that, and she's like, I don't care. I know what I want. I know what I want. Are these Americans? Yo, I'm sorry. In my mind, these are not Americans. These are crazy, religious, sick people. They're crazy off the Bible. They don't even halfway interpret the Bible correctly. It's just ignorance. It's just pure fucking ignorance. Yeah, they're no different than ISIS. It's ridiculous. You know, they're walking around with Nazi fucking flags, Confederate flags, trying to invoke fear into people. And I'm just saying, American people are really not supposed to get used to those kind of threats. And, you know, I'm just saying, yo, it's getting to the point where if I was a person under threat from them, I wouldn't take it. Like, I'm just telling you, I wouldn't take being threatened physically by any of these people, being bullied by any of these people. Like, no, period. Like, we cannot accept that. That is going to have to come to an end. It's going to have to come to an end. And if it's not going to come to an end with a vote, that's November. We got to November to find out if this democracy works. Once we find out that it doesn't work, the whole scenario is going to change. The whole scenario is going to change, because then people know they're not living in a free country anymore. You see what I mean? And that these people plan on bullying everybody out of their own fucking country. It's like, nah, it ain't going to go that way.
I do believe that, you know, once all is said and done, you know, and the midterms are done and Democrats have a majority or regain a majority based off of, you know, the contemporary times of, you know, the cuts that the Big Beautiful Bill have done, we don't let MAGAs live this down. We don't let them hide amongst the veils of your regular conservative or your centrist or libertarian. We hold them accountable, right?
Because it's wrong. It's wrong. You cannot tell. They're trying to turn whiteness into some sort of American citizen privilege. Your color doesn't fucking matter. Period. Your color, who you got, it's all phony. White colonial Americans didn't come to the United States holding hands together. They fucking fought and killed each other. And they're trying to make up some little make-believe story like, they just got together. It was just the white people who got together. No, colonial Europeans were killing each other too. You see what I mean? They didn't agree also. And now he's trying to turn it into something else. People need to, I'm telling you, this charade is going to have to come to an end. Why? Because they're preaching lies. That's why. There's no way in hell that being an American is defined by your skin color. Your sacrifice to that country is not defined by your skin color. It's not that easy. And it's also not defined by a lot of shit. Goddamn, I mean, they just total hypocrites to everything about the country. You know what I mean? They lie about everything. Some Native Americans helped certain Europeans. Others helped other Europeans. Some fought each other. Some Europeans fought each other. African Americans, we had Buffalo Soldiers. We also fought against the Confederates. We had, it's all a mixed bag, man. We fought in the War of Independence. It's all a mixed bag. It's not like white and black like these motherfuckers try to explain everything. See, they try to rob everybody of their own history by trying to, sew it up into somebody's color. Like that matters. That's ridiculous. If you came to the country, these people, man, they're so phony. They would never want to fucking live in America that Europeans arrived in. They wouldn't survive it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they have some nerve trying to claim it all just under color after it's all been built through blood, sweat, and tears of so many fucking people, including women. Yo, you heard the man himself say that women shouldn't be able to vote. Women, go get a gun. Like, get your gun license. Like, that is a warning to you. Like, seriously, go get a fucking.
It's a threat to their freedoms. Yes, of course.
They want you. They literally want you in the fucking kitchen. Like, this is what they're saying. And if you are accepting of those kind of threats, anybody that's accepting of these threats, man, I don't know what to tell you, because, you would be sitting down for tyranny and your own demise. Like, they will kill you. They will. So it's either going to be them or you better stand up for yourself. And I'll be damned if I'm just going to be like thinking that I have to sacrifice something for these people that don't even care about the country and lie about the country. Hell fucking no. These people are the problem. They need to stop being fucking bigoted. Stop being so black and white about everything. Stop lying about other Americans. A lot of these Hispanics, man, when you really get down to it, they speak Spanish, but that doesn't mean they're not Native Americans. Also, a lot of them, you don't know what their family histories are.
Mexicans especially.
Yeah, you don't know what their family histories are. The borders have moved. Even in Canada, and the U.S. border has moved. A lot of people became Americans because the border itself just moved. French people that were speaking French all of a sudden became American because the border changed. And it's the same thing about with Hispanic, a lot of Hispanic and Native Americans too. The borders moved and we're treating them like we don't even know our own history. We're treating other Americans like shit. We're treating Canadians like shit. We're treating all other Americans like shit. We're treating our allies like shit. It's like, yo, this going to have to come to an end. It's going to come to an end. You know why? Because you won't have a country. The country won't survive with this type of leadership. It won't survive with these type of people behaving this way. It won't. It wasn't meant to survive that way. That's the thing about it. So it is the demise. It's going down with these people's leadership. The country is going to go down. And I really just, we're going to see, man. I'm tired of saying hope. I'm not even hoping. I'm not hoping. It's very simple. Americans either going to have the brains to make sure that these motherfuckers follow the election rules and do not tamper with this election and respect this election, or it's going down. It's going down, and I really don't understand it, man. Why do Americans like living like this? What is up with this? Like, why do they like living without health care? Why do they like living with trying to think that education is a luxury? God damn, you know how fucked up you have to be to think education is a luxury? Like, yeah. Damn, that's a low bar. That's a low bar when you think education is a luxury. It has something to do with how much money you got. That says a lot about this motherfucker on the screen, because everything he said was totally fucking made up. Listen to this. He just made it all up.
Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing.
He's a stupid motherfucker. The Founding Fathers. Oh yeah, who were the Founding Fathers? Who were they? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't intend on someone to vote. Yeah. Well, so what, motherfucker? So what? What does that have to do with it? That got nothing to do with it. It's something called constitutional law, and it evolved over hundreds of years. What the fuck is wrong with this dude? 250 years. He's about to celebrate the 250-year anniversary of the United States, and he doesn't know what constitutional law is. Constitutional law is new amendments, new bills that give new rights and new laws and new new freedoms. And he's like, they didn't intend on it. How the fuck does he know what they intended? Anyway, how does he know? You see what I'm saying? So setting it up has nothing to do with what they intended. They debated what they did, and they did what they did to expedite whatever they wanted to do. There's nothing that says they didn't intend. They came up with the Bill of Rights. He acts like hold on. Look, how many years was it from the Constitution? How many years between the Constitution and the Bill of Rights? I'm sorry. That's the first extra edition, right? So let's see here. 2 years. And this motherfucker is talking about the Founding Fathers didn't intend on it. They didn't intend. Really? That's funny. They didn't intend. So anything that wasn't in the Constitution, they didn't intend on it. Let me see. Here we go. 1787, when the Constitution was sent to the states for approval in 1787, a group called Anti-Federalists refused to sign it. You see what I'm saying? He's a total hypocrite. He's acting like it was just so simple, all black and white. Everyone agreed, and that's just how it was. It wasn't that way. It wasn't. And it says it. Look, when the Constitution was sent, although this dumb motherfucker wouldn't know it himself, sent to the states for approval 1787, a group called the Anti-Federalists refused to sign it. You see? So he's like, the Founding Fathers didn't intend. Man, they debated different things. They didn't even agree often. What you got in the end was because they finally got through all the disagreements, and what they got was what's left. It has nothing to do with what they intended. It's called the process. They argued that the new federal government was going to be way too powerful and would inevitably abuse its citizens. Ain't that Trump? That's exactly what Trump is doing. That's exactly. They demanded a specific list of individual rights like freedom of speech and the right to a fair trial. Yeah. You see what I mean? To get the Constitution passed, the Federalists, led by James Madison, basically said, look, if you vote to pass the Constitution now, we promise that the very first thing the new Congress does will be to write and add a Bill of Rights. Now, you see what this stupid motherfucker is saying? Like, this is why, these people are lunatics, man. They're lunatics here.
Loyalists and the biggest supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah. Every person, women, men, black, white, whatever, has equal dignity under.
So James Madison wasn't a founding father. The Anti-Federalists weren't founding fathers, according to this guy. You see what I mean? Like, so he, it's like, but this is who's leading the country. People that don't even know U.S. history, and that's going to kill you all the time. That's going to kill you all the time. It's so sad. But in any case, somebody said they were decent Unitarian. Man, they were so many things. That's the point. It's not even one or two. Like I said, it's not black and white. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. You could call it Deist and Unitarian. The Deist and the Unitarians still had some within their own ranks, had some different views, you know. So you have to leave room for that. And again, in any case, who died for the country? Okay, who died for the country? Who fought for the country? I mean, people can think of all, you know, get into this, what their theories were. No, that wasn't their goddamn theories. Look, the country is there because people fought for it, not just because people thought some shit up. No, people had to die. Okay. And in most normal countries, you honor the people that fought. You consider them citizens, and you move it on, and you celebrate their contributions. You don't fucking say boo. You contributed all kinds of shit, your life and everything, but because of your color, I won't give you any recognition. That's literally what this dude said, you know? So yeah, white fundamentalist, judo Christian extremists, that's what they are. They're lunatics. They're lunatics. And in any case, constitutional law is a thing in progress. You don't just say scrap it all because it's not part of the Constitution. The Constitution has inside of it how the law works, and who can write bills. It says it right there. So you have to accept what's there. He's acting like they didn't intend on it. That makes no sense. Look, where in the Constitution does it explain who can write new laws? Very simple. You know, I mean, so look, authority to write new laws is laid out in the very beginning as Article 1, Section 1. Look at this. So you see, that's what I'm saying. These people are crazy. The authority to write new laws is laid out right at the very beginning of the document of the Constitution. So if they didn't intend it, why does it say right here what it's for? You see, Article 1, it's the first goddamn thing they talk about. It's the first goddamn thing. It's stated in the very first sentence following the preamble. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. That's it. They decide what the laws are, how it works. Article 1, Section 1 gives Congress the exclusive power to write laws. Article 1, Section 7 explains the exact recipe for how the bill actually becomes law. That's the first thing the Constitution says. Now just listen to this fool. That's what I'm saying. It's just insulting, man. It's so insulting.
Loyalists and the biggest supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah. Every person, women, men, black, white.
I mean, you could just stop it where he said the Founding Fathers didn't intend, because that was wrong. Look, here it is. Oops. Damn. Did I mess that up?
Loyalists and the biggest supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah. Every person, women, men, black, white, whatever, has equal dignity under the law. And
look, he's talking about the Bill of Rights that came 2 years after the Constitution. So 2 years later, he's saying 2 years later, the Founding Fathers got it wrong. The same Founding Fathers that wrote the Constitution, 2 years later, they got it wrong. Madison said, yo, if we ain't writing no Bill of Rights, we're not signing the Constitution. He said, we're signing this Constitution, and the very next thing we must do is write a Bill of Rights. That's literally what happened. So, look, everybody in the West knows these people are a problem. They are a problem. They are the ones that collaborated with Putin to overthrow NATO. They are the ones. They're the ones. They're the ones that insulted our allies, insulted Canada, insulted Mexico, insulted every other goddamn American nation, insulted Europe, the EU, right? Trump insulted Africa the first term, calling them all shithole countries. Listen, something's going to have to give. Something's going to have to give. And, yo, you want to say anything, man? Cause I'm kind of pissed off about this right about now, man. To be honest, I'm out of kind words, bro. I'm out of kind words for today. I'm a little, I want to call the troops, to be honest. I want to call the troops. I want to call the troops, man. I want to call the troops, we already heard Trump is fucking around, playing around, he's got with the Postal Service to hinder. The Postal Service isn't obliged to listen to Trump at all. And yet they're playing around with with delivering mail. They're fucking around talking about the vote when people vote and send their mail-in ballots that they're somehow going to decide who can do it that way. Yo, man. Like, I don't know what to say. Well, you got something to say, bro?
I think,
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
It definitely has to do with the fact that, a lot of people don't know extensive American history. A lot of times it takes for a lot of individuals to reach the college level, and even then, they don't necessarily get the extensive, learning process around what is in detail American history and how nuanced it is, and who played the major roles in shaping the country, and what was the intention behind a lot of the motives of these people, like a James Madison, right? They have the Madison Papers as well,
exactly.
Which, again, they dictate the reason why they wanted, less structural power from a government was because they didn't want to go back to a monarchy, which they left, which a lot of the individuals who came to America pretty much left monarchies, right? And, the main one in Britain, right? And religious persecution, which is what we're doing now, right?
Many monarchies.
What we're doing now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Many different monarchies, yes.
Yeah. It's true.
Which essentially is what we're doing now, right? We're persecuting and ostracizing individuals who identify as Muslim, right? Or any other religion. And in fact, we're reinforcing this, so-called Christian ideology that
it's ridiculous,
America supposedly was just built on.
If you know, it's ridiculous. If you know your history, if we know history, we know how ridiculous it is. Like it's just so sad that we have to repeat it. They always say that if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. And if you don't know about the Inquisition, right? If you know about it, and you know about people that were forced to convert converts and things like that, listen, it's so ridiculous, man. You can't force people. You can try to force people to convert their religions. You can do that if you want, but the expertise that you got from them are still coming from them. You still got those expertise. So let's look at it like this. Schimmelmann in Denmark. Schimmelmann, I think that's his name, Schimmelmann. He's a famous banker at the time. He's one of he revised the monetary system of Denmark. This is back, I forget what is it, 1700s got to be, right? Something like that. Let me see. Let me make sure I get this right. But it's just an example story. Yeah. Now he was a convert, a Jewish convert, right? And did I say that right? Yeah. It's Schimmelmann, right? Okay. Now, to get it right, his full name was Heinrich Karl von Schimmelmann, 1724 to 1782, right? And his son was Heinrich Ernst Schimmelmann, right? Now, together, Schimmelmann, let me see, family became the wealthiest dynasty in Denmark during the 18th century, right? That's the 1700s. Brilliant, ruthless financiers who essentially ran the Danish economy, but their legacy is deeply controversial because their immense fortune was built directly on the transatlantic slave trade. So they established the Virgin Islands, or operated it, right, for the king, right? Now, so they got wealthy off of slavery there. Now, here's the thing. They restructured the monetary system in Denmark. That's one of the things he's known for. Now, but here's the thing: he was a convert to Christianity. You see what I mean? It was after the English. So he's. Let me see something. Let me just make it clear. And he's not the only one. There's many Jewish converts. You see what I'm saying? And there's many Muslim converts too. A lot of let me see here. Hold on. No, he was here's his family. His family were Lutheran converts, I believe. It's earlier in the history, in the 1700s. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me see here. Does it say here? It says Luther. It says Lutheranism, but I'm almost. Anyway, I thought I read this differently before. I thought I pulled it. I've pulled this up before. Let me see something. I thought he was front part of the name. It is. I'm telling you, it is. Sorry to take people through this. I know it's kind of crude, but listen. In any case, here's the history. A lot of converts, what's called crypto Jewish people, right, and crypto Muslims, right, converts went to the Americas with the colonialists, right, but they were Christianized, but they were converts, and right. It says, right now it's saying he's German, usually originated from one of the two ways Middle Ages, right? Schimmelman, Gray Horse. Okay. Well, they're saying I actually thought. Many people assume names Goldman. I actually thought that he's from a converted family. Not that it matters, but okay. So damn, maybe I got that wrong. Well, let me just let me give another example then. Damn, sorry about that, y'all. It's obvious though. If you know the Inquisition, plenty of people converted, and the reason why people converted was to keep whatever possessions they had, keep whatever power they have. Let me see here, and I'll give you another example. My point is to illustrate something else, right? They're called conversos, right? Or now. Jews who publicly converted to Catholicism under the threat of death, torture, impulsion, secretly maintain their faiths, right? So there was also crypto Muslims, and so they traveled to the Americas also, right? Now, if you look at different contributions that they made, you see, this is the point. When they make contributions in the societies, right, after they're converted, right, you're getting the contribution from the person, not the religion. It's the person's actual skill set, right? That's what you're getting the contribution from. So when this guy is talking about on the screen, he's talking about the founding fathers, and he's talking about white men in this kind of very narrow lens, right? He's make-believing the history itself. He's knocking out contributions from a lot of different people that should normally count. You see what I mean? And the people that he's knocking out are women's contributions. He's discounting even Native Americans' actual real history. Native Americans align themselves with different Europeans, colonialists at times. It depends on where they saw their best interests. African Americans did the same thing. Europeans also had indentured servants. You see what I mean? So there's a lot of different dynamics going on. He just whitewashes it all like everyone was just having a good time. It was just easy. We had it all thought out. That's basically what he's saying. And it's just not that way. A lot of different things happen that just turned into the United States of America. It wasn't a straight path like this guy is trying to suggest. And yeah, man, I just get so tired of these explanations, oversimplified explanations. You know, when you look into history, it's a lot more complicated and complex than
Definitely
that.
a lot more nuanced, you know, and to piggyback off what you were saying, I think it's a big issue, especially it's a part of the 2025 agenda, right? To disrupt the Board of Education, dismantle it, and create a narrative that fits their liking, right? And when you can't discern that on a higher level, you fall right into these traps, right? You fall into these pockets of conservatism that really takes away any thought process, any logical thought process, and also eliminates American history, right?
It eliminates American history. Yeah, you can't. It literally eliminates the history and tries to replace it with something that just never really was, man. It just never, which is it's sad, and you shouldn't do that. This guy. I'll give you another example. We don't know where his descendants come from. We don't know if they're French.
He probably doesn't.
We don't know if they're German. We don't know if they're Portuguese. We don't know if they're Spanish. We don't know what they were. But doesn't he know these people fought each other? What the fuck? Doesn't he know France and England had years of war? Doesn't he know Danes had years of war with other Europeans? He doesn't know that. He just thinks they all just got along because they were white.
Yeah.
This is the story he's trying to sell, and that's a discredit to history, but it's also it's such a dumbed down way of seeing things, because the fact is that they didn't see it that way. That was just one little injection into, I don't know who decided it, right? It came out,
Well,
yeah,
it came out after the transatlantic slave trade, right?
The Catholic Church.
After the transatlantic slave trade, the idea of race was reinforced, right?
Yeah.
We have some sort of reason to oppress another group of individuals of a certain color, right? Once chattel slavery became the common, it was justified through Christianity and racism, right? Hence the furthering of eugenics, right? We can oppress this group of individuals because they are seen as lesser, right? And that's the framing of a lot of MAGA mindset, right? It is based in Christian ideology, which is tied into white superiority and essentially white supremacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the appeal of a person like Donald Trump comes into play, right? He represents that ideological, Christian, strong, white supremacist, white, hegemonic man, right? And he's also able to tap into that base. And especially when you don't know the nuances of history and the differences in slavery, and in particular the transatlantic slave trade and chattel slavery, we get individuals like the people you have played in these videos, right, who don't know anything about American history or world history and how it played a huge role in American history, how America is just a melting pot of oppressed other individuals, right? Before we lived in a global world where chattel slavery existed or impacted the world, there were a bunch of different countries and a bunch of different people being oppressed within their country. Hence the formation of America, right?
Exactly.
It was to push their outcasts, to push the people who they didn't want to represent. They were pushed out to the Americas and essentially formed America.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just and this guy is like he's just wrapped it all up into they're white people and they all got along. It just totally erases the U.S. history.
He did, and he's bought into a form of eugenics, right? When we say, it's a dog whistle to say that, right? He's dog whistling to everyone who identifies as a Christian, white, hegemonic male and believes that white people are superior. It is a dog whistle. When he says that's not what it was intended, when he implies that there was some sort of, harmony amongst every white person who settled here in America, it ties back into the anti-immigration rhetoric, right? These are all things that are separate issues, but are loosely combined, right? They all rhyme within the same mindset that they want to portray and push. And when you lack education on a higher level, you lack that nuance, right? You forget about the finer details, right? It's like, baking a cake without a recipe. You don't know how it's made. You have no clue.
Yeah,
no clue, man. And so you'll probably use the wrong flour. You probably won't add as many eggs, right? And when you're giving that recipe onto someone else, and when they try to recreate it, and the cake just doesn't come out the same, they wonder why, right?
Yeah.
When they're eating a bad cake in the form of lack of, social programs and the lack of healthcare, they're like, why does this taste different? Because it's not fundamentally how we were created.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's crazy, man.
And the oppression of someone else doesn't mean the uplifting of yourself. In fact, it's the oppression that you will soon face, right? And that's where we have, this current state of America, right? We have individuals believing that if they continue to oppress and push away people who don't look like them or who don't fall in line and agree that they are superior or that they founded America and, it's only accredited to them, the modern day America, we have individuals who will eventually face what's happening now in the form of healthcare cuts, right? Cuts to healthcare. Red states will disproportionately suffer, and we will see that hopefully reflect in the midterms, right? When these red states start looking for someone who's more progressive and less MAGA, right? When they start questioning their own beliefs, because they'll never believe anyone on the left. They'll never believe anyone with progressive talking points. They have to live it. And once they live it, they are forced to question themselves and question their choice and question who represents their ideals, and then wonder, hey, is my hate and my disinformation and belief in disinformation and propaganda have led me to disenfranchise myself, right? When their kids are suffering, when they have to work multiple jobs and can't see their kids, and they're still struggling to be on the same health care that was provided to them when they worked 15 hours versus 20 hours, right? When they're now having to force to work 2 jobs and not the 1 job, right?
Yep.
And they still live in poverty, right? With horrible state minimum wages. When we look at a state like Texas, there was someone who compared, the pay in California to Texas in terms of payroll, and I think it was about $25 an hour. You end up with $20 more or a small amount more in terms of living in Texas. But when you look at the finer details, only 25% of individuals in Texas get paid $24 or more. The other 70% get paid $24 and less, right? When you look at California, it's opposite. Individuals who make $25 or more are 65% of Californians make $25 or more. So they try to use taxation as an argument, but in the long run, you're still going to get paid less. You're not going to make this hypothetical $25 an hour if you were to be taxed. And if so, you are a part of the 25 percentile. And when you get let go or are forced to change jobs, do you think there's a huge labor market that's willing to pay you $25 an hour in Texas? The answer is no.
Yeah,
the answer is no. When you look at the minimum wage in California, it's $16.50. When you look at the minimum wage in Texas, it is $7.50. it's more than double in California.
It's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
And they wonder why these states are ending up as welfare states and not donor states, why they're heavily dependent on federal funding in order to just function. That's the reason why these red states lead the country in the lowest education standards, because they can't fund their education without the federal government, and the federal government, whatever the federal government provides, they are forced to stay within those confinements versus blue states that can supplement any money they need through state taxes.
Right.
Right? Programs like free lunch are accessible in blue states, unlike red states. You have kids going hungry. That is what people don't understand in these red states. They don't understand that when you go to school, you're not guaranteed a hot lunch. And if I'm not mistaken, more than 65% plus of individuals or kids who go to school, their only and first meal of the day is at school. So you can imagine, if they're not getting the proper funding in schools, these kids are not eating. And now they go home to a home that is poverty stricken, that now you can't even see your parent because they have to work 2 jobs in order to get the same health care that they worked less for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all thanks to the way they voted and the person they voted in Trump. You know, these are the same people. MAGA are the same people who don't vote normally in your local elections. They're not. A lot of these politicians are grifting towards Trump because they know his endorsement will keep their seat in place. But if it wasn't due to that, they'd probably be vocally against a lot of the policies that they know will disenfranchise their constituents, and Trump will most likely never see the backlash and blame. They're going to blame it on their more local leaders, their senators, their governors, their mayors, versus Trump and policies like the big beautiful bill. They're going to blame whoever was elected to represent their state versus Trump, who enacted, policies like the big beautiful bill that are directly impacting their day-to-day life now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have a group of near senior citizens, which I have stated before, who have ailments that limit them from that 20-hour-a-week work week, but they're not fully classified as disabled. And a lot of these doctors aren't willing to write them exemption letters because they don't want that to be the standard and go against the state or go against the federal government, right? You can imagine if one doctor's writing a bunch of his patients exemption letters from work, that the federal government might look more into how he charges Medicaid and Medicare. They might purposely charge him with fraud, even if it's not fraud, just because they don't like the fact that he has now exempt a few of his patients who rightfully so deserve exemptions. But now, because he wrote too many exemptions, maybe he gets charged with fraud, because that is the current state of America we live in, right? Where freedom of speech is no longer free, right?
People
Kids
are arguing
can't even protest at school.
They're arguing, trying to limit all these rights, man. Suddenly, and don't get me wrong. If you want to make those arguments, just be honest about it. Don't lie. And that's the thing about these folks. It's all a con, bro. It's all a goddamn con. It's a con.
It's a grift.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a grift, and it's sad, and that's and what makes it even more ridiculous is that it's like, it's just so insulting to people's history, bro. It's so insulting, this whole idea about who people are is based on their color. People work together based on their color. Like, yo, man, this guy's crazy. They're crazy, bro. Like, they're just lost. They're lost. It's not really that way, man. Color might just be a happenstance. Like, it may be less of a factor than anything else. This what's going on, and the only thing they notice is the color. you know, and it's just ridiculous, man. It is so ridiculous, you know. It's sad. We really embarrassed ourselves with this. But the good thing is we're not the only country that has like these kind of nutty right wingers that have like fallacies about the human race, you know, and fallacies about history, just literal fallacies about history. You know, how you can't, I mean, if you think the United States was created and colonialists weren't going at each other's necks, you're crazy. They fought over that place. Literally, loads of people died. It wasn't just one way. It wasn't just like colonialists versus Indians. It was also colonialists versus colonialists, Indians and colonialists versus other colonialists and Indians. It's like, it's just a whole mix. Then it's African Americans, Buffalo Soldiers. Then it's the different wars. You know, it's like it's just a mixed bag, bro. It's a mixed bag, you know. And the only thing that would be positive is if we learned our history, saw it for what it was, and came out stronger. But these guys don't want to come out stronger, bro. They don't want to come out stronger. And it's 2026.
You know, I truly believe that it is, you know, you have a lot of the MAGA base, and, you know, I don't want to say conservatives as a whole because I don't want to lump them all together, you know, because you have your libertarians, you have your, you know, your neocons, you have your, you know, there's nuance to everything, right? Just like there's nuance to the left, there's nuance to the right, but it just so happens to be that MAGA is popular because, you know, even if you are conservative, you know that if it sways further to the right, you somehow, depending on your social status, will benefit, right? And it's that grift. You know, I think the biggest telltale sign that there is a tide that is turning is when you have grifters like your Candace Owens and your Nick Fuenteses, who represented the fringe right now against the MAGA movement, you know, calling out Donald Trump and this current admin on all the hypocrisy that goes on, you know, when those people start platforming more people on the left than your average far-right conservative or MAGA mindset, I think that's a very big telltale sign that America is vaguely waking up, even if his loud minority base still has that megaphone that they preach from, right? You know, and it is a level of ignorance, right? They speak from a level of ignorance because I truly, you know, my whole philosophy is know better, do better, and I just don't believe that they know better. No matter what they believe, even if their beliefs are built, you know, they're foundationally on faulty ground, right? And when you had a faulty belief that's now backed by someone who is in position, it makes it seem as if it's more valid when it's just not. You know, and like like we explained yesterday, you know, that was my whole argument. America, especially the Democrats, in an unfortunate two-party system, we need to touch the youth. We need to be present in the youth.
Yeah.
We need to be able to show individuals that, you know, your average kid who does well in school, maybe he can be a politician. Maybe she can be a politician. Maybe she can be a senator. Maybe he can be a senator. Right? Mm-hmm. When we start changing, because that's how we get the progressive movement moving. When we get younger individuals in the House and Senate, when we get younger individuals as mayor and governors who run the politics gambit and are visible, we start to see individuals, because this is what I truly believe. The younger you are when you start your political career, you have to walk on eggshells because your movement is based on your political livelihood. When we have individuals who are, you know, 60 plus representing, you know, positions that they've held already for 10, 15, 20 years and haven't been challenged, they already know, hey, look, tomorrow if my political career ends or I have to sit out for, you know, 5 to 10 years, I'm okay. Right? I have my health care. when someone who's 35 and has to run for mayor, like Zoran Mamdani, he has to make sure that he backs as many promises as he can. Otherwise, he will not be elected for public office in New York ever again, ever.
I mean, listen, it's just so sad because you have so many. Just look at the representatives we have now, and look at what they're doing. Just look at what they're doing. So many of them are lying scum that just take people's tax dollars and don't do a goddamn thing. So what is this whole conversation about? I mean, just let's listen to what this guy says. Here, let's listen to him. Just listen to how he sums this shit up. Can I play this or what? Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Loyalists and the biggest supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah. Every person, women, men, black.
So let's keep in mind.
Supporters of Project 2020.
How do I stop this shit?
Like that, and I appreciate it.
Something happened. Hold on. Let me. There it is. Now, check this out. He said all of that, and the person that he's capping for. See, this is what doesn't make sense. He's talking about the Founding Fathers, and of course, he lied about it. They didn't intend for people to have all these rights. They didn't intend for women to vote. They didn't intend. Man, first of all, as anyone knows who's ever read the Constitution, the actual first article tells you how laws will be made. That's literally the first part of the Constitution. It explains how laws will be made. And even to get the anti-federalists who are part of the Founding Fathers groups, they didn't all agree on everything. To get the anti-federalists to sign the Constitution, they had to promise that the next very thing they did was create a Bill of Rights. So the guy doesn't know anything about what he's talking about, the little MAGA dude. And and he's just going to tell this fallacy, this lie. And then the person who's the leader of his party is the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And he's trying to tell you about who should have what the Founding Fathers intended. Like, it makes no sense. You cannot be proud of an organization made for the benefit of the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, bro. You can't be. That makes you an idiot. That makes anyone an idiot. It might sound fancy to say all these things, the Founding Father and la la la, but you actually have to read the Constitution and know something about it, how it was created and why for you to make any goddamn sense. But he's saying all of this diminishing the Constitution, because that's what he's doing, because it's actually the first thing you read in the Constitution, who and how laws will be made. That's the first part of the Constitution. And he said the Founding Fathers didn't intend on women to have. They intended on laws to be made by Congress, fool. That's what they intended. They didn't write a whole list about what they didn't intend. They just wrote down the fact that they intended on writing some motherfucking laws, and they got busy after that. And if they didn't agree on that, you wouldn't have a Constitution. And this guy's describing it totally different. He's describing it totally different. So, I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. This is a desecration of the Founding Fathers, their intention, because it says it right in the Constitution, and they are desecrating it, right? It's a desecration of fucking history. Listening to these MAGA people, you can't exist in the same place because they don't fucking know America, dog. They don't know what being American is. They don't even know what being American is, bro. They just don't know it. They don't know what Pan-Americanism is. They don't know what American culture is. They just don't know it. They just don't know it. And they're living in some sort of fantasy world that they expect everyone else to just follow because they made it up. Nah, nobody. I'm done fucking following it. I ain't following that shit. And like I said, why? I'm an American. When I come to the United States of America with this regime in power, it means there are no laws. There are no fucking laws. I'm not going to be listening. I'm not going to be listening to anybody from this motherfucking regime, yo. Nobody, because they're criminals. They don't follow the law. They want to make believe something that doesn't exist, and that's impossible to follow. You see what I mean? So, yeah, they're just hypocrites, man. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're trying to whitewash history. Sorry, it's not going to work on people that take history, that actually care about history. That actually care about the Constitution, that actually studied, know about the foundings of the country. It just doesn't work. It might work on some immigrant. There's a lot of immigrants that look like him. Trump is a fucking immigrant. He's a third generation immigrant, maybe second generation immigrant. His grandparents came to the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is this? Who is that? That's long after the Civil War. That's not around. That's not the War of Independence. That's not the Civil War. That's after. That's after.
Well after. Yep.
A lot of these right wingers, their families weren't even in the fucking country, and they're talking like they own the country. I'm sorry, that's insulting to real fucking Americans. It's insulting. And it's not going to ride. They pulled the charade over a lot of these people that it ain't going to work. Look at the leader of the Proud Boys. Isn't he fucking Puerto Rican?
He's Cuban.
He's Cuban. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is wrong with him? What is wrong with him? Is he Cuban? Hold on. I'm sorry.
He's Cuban. He's Cuban.
Okay, he's
Enrique Tarrio.
Yeah, Enrique Tarrio. It's what is this? His family's immigrants, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's a deeper conversation. It has to do with, how Cubans self-identify, and the larger Latino community. And with other communities as well, but the Latino community in particular, proximity to whiteness, right? Proximity to whiteness, right? And understanding that the same slavery that took place here took place in a lot of Latin American countries, maybe not as long, but it did. And that they mixed more and integrated with, the Hispanic
look at this.
Society.
This is some bullshit right here. Look at this, man. This is just embarrassing. I mean, this is how these people are. And if you take their words to mean anything, you will make a big mistake. Look, his family are immigrants. Tarrio is Afro-Cuban.
Yes. Yes.
He's an Afro-Cuban, and he's pretending like I would give a fuck about what he thinks about America. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I don't give a fuck what he thinks. When you start bullying other American citizens, right? Seriously, physically harassing, threatening violence. Yo, man, you're going to have to get put in your place. And that's what these people did. And he got some goddamn nerve. You know what I mean? He's got some goddamn nerve. like you said, proximity to whiteness. And it's all fiction. Proximity to whiteness. What is whiteness? It's fiction.
There you go.
He's like, why is
he playing that game? Term, right?
Yeah, why does he need that term? I mean, the goddamn Italians, where they consider it's so many immigrants that came to the United States from Europe and were looked down on. It's and this dude is trying to be something that doesn't even exist. The
Italians, the Greeks, right? And even still within the current Italian culture, the darker you are, the more they try to separate you as Sicilian versus, Northern Italian. So proximity to whiteness has always been a thing. And that's mainly, again, due to transatlantic slave, due to slavery, right? It shows somehow, a dog whistle to eugenics and you being, more entitled to what the world has to offer because of your proximity to whiteness, right?
Right.
And this regime has made that popular, right?
Right. Yeah. This regime has made it popular, and this is his leader. Look,
And I'm honored to welcome everybody and these incredibly talented and unbelievable, patriotic young American leaders. You're going to be the leaders somebody I would be almost willing to bet, maybe even willing to bet, somebody in that audience right here, right in front of me, is going to be standing here someday. I think so. You've got a good shot. You're going to have a good shot. You've done incredible work to get to this position, and I have tremendous respect for it. We're glad to be joined by our terrific Vice President, Mike Pence. And many of our cabinet members are here. They wanted to be here. I told a couple of them, don't have to. Don't worry about it. What the heck? These are my friends. They said, no, we want to be here. So we have a lot of our cabinet members here. And to every young person, you represent America's future. You are the best and the brightest, the bravest and boldest. And someday you are going to be setting records like nobody before. I'm telling you, I know it. I know where it's at. I know where energy is, and you have the energy like very few people have the energy. So I just want to tell you, get out there. Prove me right, please, okay? Prove me right. I have no doubt you will. Each of you has come to Washington for the Black Leadership Summit because you have what it takes to achieve real change on your campuses and in your communities, and that's what you've been doing, and that's actually why you're here. You speak out for the values and principles that have made America the most exceptional nation anywhere on earth, and I will say this today is greater than it ever was before. Our military, our economy. African Americans built this nation. You built this nation.
You see what I'm saying? So Trump is out there. This dude's leader. This guy's leader. I mean, this is what I'm saying we have to deal with. And it's annoying. It is hell of annoying, you know. So this guy, Trump says African Americans built this nation, right? That's what Trump says, right? Everybody heard that, right? Well, the message didn't get to his dumbass subordinate. And this is also another lazy case that people are just tired of. Like, when are his subordinates going to learn, you know, what this guy says?
Supporters of Project 2025 think about the rights of women and black men in America. Here's what they had to say.
The Founding Fathers restricted voting rights for vast majorities of people, including women. The women didn't receive the right to vote until the 19th Amendment.
And then we fixed that.
I don't think that was a good thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think it was a good thing. I believe
the 19th Amendment?
Yeah. Every person, women, men, black, white, whatever, has equal dignity under the law and before God. That doesn't mean they'll have the same roles and should have the same influence in a society.
So who should have influence in our society?
Christian leaders.
White Christian men. Interesting.
White Christian men.
Right. So you see right there, that's a total deviation from what Trump just said. This is crazy. Yeah. It's a total deviation.
That, and I appreciate it. We love you. We love you. You represent America's future. You are the best and the brightest, the bravest and boldest, and someday you are going to be setting records like nobody before. I'm telling you, I know it. I know where it's at. I know where energy is, and you have the energy like very few people have the energy. So I just want to tell you, get out there. Prove me right, please, okay? Prove me right. I have no doubt you will. Each of you has come to Washington for the Black Leadership Summit because you have what it takes to achieve real change on your campuses and in your communities, and that's what you've been doing, and that's actually why you're here. You speak out for the values and principles that have made America the most exceptional nation anywhere on earth, and I will say this today is greater than it ever was before. Our military, our economy. African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that, okay? I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But with Candace around and Terrence, that's not going to happen for long. But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and You deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. Like that, and I appreciate it. We love.
Yeah, so, you can see Trump, the MAGA people have a leader, and they don't even follow what the leader says. It's just no cohesion, right, with any thought, with any idea in MAGA. It's just a madhouse, and it has to crumble for the country to move on. Like what they represented, the things that they say, it has to just be gone with for the country to exist. This type of stupidity, this type of looniness, it cannot exist in a country that's going to thrive. And maybe that's why Peter Thiel is leaving the U.S. And probably others are, but I mean, it's just a charade. It's just a charade. It's not even serious. It's unserious, and at some point it's got to come to an end. And I tell you, this guy, he wants to fuck around with these elections. American citizens are waiting to see if he's going to do that. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, if those elections are tampered with, that's it. It's over. It's over. It's going to be a serious problem in the U.S. People are not going to go along with it. So so Oda, it says you better go to your MAGA friends and tell them that clips because we are more Yeah, I don't know what's up with it. Some people like living in dreams and fantasies and shit. But in any case, MAGA folk, you just got more of your health care taken away. Thanks to Trump, you're stupid enough to continue to support him. And oh well, until you wise up, you're not going to get anything. It's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse for you. So, yeah, hopefully folks will wake up. But if they don't wake up, Americans gotta step up and fight on their own, man. You can't just let bullshit prevail. But in any case, until then, folks, I'm out. I'll be back later on today. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Yeah, my mood kind of changed a little listening to this nonsense that MAGA is on, and hearing about the voting thing. And some days it gets the best of me, y'all. But I appreciate everybody for hanging through there. I'll be back. Actually, I'll be back in 18 hours from now. So be good. Everybody have a wonderful day. All right. I'm going to catch up with y'all soon.
Guys. Thank you, B.
Yo, peace, Michael. Appreciate you, bro. Peace.
It's gonna be a time that we change. Shit is not finite. Life is the same. Motherfuckers killing each other to make a claim. Stop that bullshit. You have no respect for each other. You know the truth. You come from your mother, your sister, your brother. So love one another. If we make that change, the whole world will do the same. So listen.
Only there's one love. Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? No, no, no.
What about the kids?
Don't forget the children.
Tell them about the children.
What about the children crying? Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, I wish someone would tell me when is the suffering gonna stop. I see time ticking. Fuck your watch. There comes a time when man steps to the plate, but it won't matter if your mentality is fake. Where I'm from, we got a system, overcrowded prisons, 2 cents an hour, man. Listen, shit don't change if we keep exploiting each other. One day you find out you only did it to your brother. A homeless mother, a baby, no supper. She got a husband and father, they both love her, but they can't find work cause the people with the power, they got a strange way to govern. Their price tag say nothing. Life is funny, then again it's really not. People dying for what other people got. I asked God if he can come and change the shit. He said, hell no, it's you that's gotta change this.
Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? One.
can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style. Oh, pimped out style, you don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope cry. I'm just real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope cry. I'm just real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just entertainment, at the same time edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. If you're a dope track, I'm just real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. And you're a dope track, I'm just real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, that balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling. People's vision get blurring, their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid, I bet for keep to me just relax, and just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. To all the ghettos around the world. And yes, you know the struggle goes on. People try to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong. When am I walking? Sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers been living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the projects, enter rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my man Paulo, fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. There goes Rallo with the blowout fro. He's got a got. Hey, yo, brothers got to go. No show is live when there ain't fuck Memorex. My man Rollo's gotta get Apollo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy died. Now show me some love, kid. It sounds like a fucking
yes, you
lie.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think how the world come to this, a place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion, justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists, giving all our power to the damn commercialists that see us just as being sheep in this world, that want us to do what we're told like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality
and
this
yes, you
day.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of bias, educational methods. Twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate. Understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true,
and yes,
man.
you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong. Yes, you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers be living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the project center rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my nigga Paulo, fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. There goes Rollo with the blowout fro. He's got a gat, ayo niggas gots to go. No show is live when there ain't fuck Memorex. My nigga Rollo's got a gat at Paulo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy died. Now show me some love, kid, it sounds like a
and
fucking
yes, you
lie.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think how the world come to this, a place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion, justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists, giving all our power to the damn commercialists that see us just as being sheep in this this world that want us to do what we're told, like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality
And
this
yes, you know
day.
the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long, pain without a limit, so wrong.
Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of biased educational methods. Twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate. Understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true.
And yes, you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long, pain without a limit, so wrong.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.